Hey guys, my name looks like it says Ari, but it's not Ari. It's Justin. Oh, there's my doppelganger. Ari, do you want me to give you back the controls? Hey Pam, how are you?
Fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks for joining us. I
Of
saw
course.
Rachel in here. How are you? I think we're gonna wait to see who pops in. Um, hey Sunday. I think this was announced
Hello.
to the majority of folks. Did anyone see this in sub twos group? You did, Father Girl? Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Victoria texted me saying, "Hey, do you want to release this to sub two?" I said, "Absolutely." So I don't think Pace is joining us. I think Pace is on another Zoom. He did acknowledge everything, and we'll just let people trickle in. I do know that I believe Silesia ended up meeting with Connecticut. No, Natick
Natick.
today.
Yes.
So how did that go? I saw your notes, and there's how many families? 12 families? 13?
They have about 81 families, but they work with a few people, a few groups, so they only have 14 more boxes to fill. So they want to fill the boxes with the things that are on the link they sent, and then we just fill out those boxes and bring it to the center. By Sunday is like the latest. So, we only have 1 week. So we're going to fill up the boxes with those things and then bring it to the center, and then the families will go there and pick them up. Um, yeah, they're not doing any cooking. I mean, if we wanted to do any cooking or anything, now is, we can't really do that today. I
Okay,
mean, for this Thanksgiving, because they're all booked and all that. So,
for sure. All right, and we'll get into that. I did learn that yesterday. Um, let's see what time. So we got 30 people in here right now, 6:04. We'll give it another minute. Just change.
yeah, so they have other community partners. I think somebody's doing, a group is doing 27 boxes, another group is doing 10 boxes. So there's only 14 left. And then we picked up those 14. And she was very happy about it. Was so relieved that somebody can do that. And yeah, we
That's
could,
great.
yeah.
So there's probably some pressure that was relieved
Yeah, I could
for
see
the
that on her face. She was like almost she almost couldn't believe that, we can do all those 14 boxes. So she wasn't expecting us to do all that. So, and we can do that because it doesn't seem like it's a lot. We just need $100 gift cards for those 14 families, and then the rest of the things. So the gift card is for them to go to, there's a store there, I forgot the name, for them to go to those stores and get the turkey, whatever they need. And then we fill up the boxes with, the rest of the things, which I forgot, but I can pull up the link. But yeah, so
got it.
that, and then they're different. So because I asked, can you join us tonight? Because we're gonna have families from, family promise from New Hampshire tonight, and then maybe other places. But she said they can't do it tonight because they have a fundraiser. They only have two, and tonight is one of the nights, so she can't join. Otherwise, she would love to, but they each have different programs, I guess. So yeah.
Good stuff. Awesome. Well, thank you for doing that. Thank you for taking the initiative. Obviously, meeting earlier, and then what we'll do is we'll combine your notes and notes
Mhm.
of everybody else's sort of what, and then we're gonna do essentially we'll do like one bird's eye view over everything. But what I wanted to do is at least give Pam the floor. So Pam, welcome. Uh,
Thank you.
this is our community. This is still it's growing. 35 people I don't know how far it's going to reach tonight. You'll probably see folks trickle in right at the end of your conversation too. Just like, hey, I'm here to the party. And they're
Okay.
always fashionably late, and then we'll have to update them later, but that's normal. But thank you for meeting yesterday. Guys, really
We were happy
quickly,
to.
thank you. And guys, just real quick, and then I'm gonna give Pam the floor. So Pam is with the Nashua Family Promise. So they are, what I've come to learn, is the second largest in the country. And the reason I had said that a few times to you guys, knowing that, but I didn't know the context behind it, but they're housing, 60 odd families in one property. And it's a pretty cool property. And it's an old school. So, Pam may dig into that, but we were able to collaborate really briefly yesterday. She agreed to be here. Her counterparts and other Family Promise leaders are here, along with our great community. So let's give them the floor. I would say our questions, just to be respectful of their time, because of course their time is, donated essentially here too. So let's listen to the message. Things will evolve, things will change, but at the end of the day, we will still deliver and we will still serve. So let's just be thoughtful and yeah. And a lot of the things we don't have worked out, and we will work them out as they come. So let's not panic too. If there's some things that you're worried about, some of our analytical friends. And Pam, please take the floor.
Thanks. Thank you so much, everyone, for having us. Rachel Hand is the executive director for Family Promise North Shore, which is in Beverly, Massachusetts. Patty Frew Waters so Rachel's here. I'd like for her to speak too. Patty Frew Waters is the executive director for Seacoast Family Promise in New Hampshire. And she's joining the call if she's not already on it. I don't see her, but I did speak with her. She is good. Okay. And then Stephen Croak is the executive director for Concord Family Promise. And he was joining too. I don't know if he's here.
Yeah, I see Stephen.
Okay, good, good. You know what, Justin, if you don't mind, just for the other executive directors, can you tell them what this program is about? Because they haven't had the opportunity to hear it, so I think they can respond in a more efficient way to all of you if they know what's going on.
Absolutely. No, and that's great. And I think, we talked about this yesterday too. It's like, we're both sort of, we approached you. You're like, who are you? The same thing. I was like, I know a little bit about you, but I don't know what I'm doing. So, it's all good. So thank you. We are a community. We are a real estate minded, countrywide, almost worldwide now, community. It's called Sub2, SUBTO. See this logo, a peace sign everywhere, emoji. And it's just a community of like-minded individuals. We say we're filtered. Everyone in this room has paid to be in this room. They paid to be in a mentorship, and they continue to try to just, we're a community. That's really it. And so now what this community is run by a gentleman named Pace Morby, and he is just pioneering the real estate industry at this current moment, along with other, things. And now this is evolving into business buying, and it's just the gift that keeps on giving. This community is growing a lot larger, and we don't just solve one problem. We don't just do one transaction. We're not just there's realtors, investors, Airbnb hosts, long-term rentals. How about we have just sober living, strictly folks doing sober living to assisted living, you name it, we do it. And there's an individual for every facet of the business. Moving forward, we are growing as a community. There's about 12,000 of us growing. And there's members every day coming in. And with that being said, there was a young lady, Kim Walls, out of the California area. And I see Sundays here too, Sundays in California. Sundays on that, I would say, committee that really pioneered this. And so what we're doing is we're just doing our own little branch off. Obviously in New England, we're like, hey, we're going to do this. This is what we're doing. But they kicked it off and said, hey, we're going to do Sub2 gives thanks. And really, last year, the gentleman who owns or started Sub2, he went to a town and just, they cleared out a bunch of grocery stores of turkeys and just donated thousands of dollars of just turkeys and everything. And it was just this sporadic, spontaneous giveaway. And the next thing, you know, the mayor was there and all the press started showing up because it was just a random act of kindness. This year was a little bit more, you know, intentional, and we're trying to do more intentional giving. So Kim and Sunday and the team, they found Family Promise. And I think more or less that it's on the outside or from their research, it looked like a great organization. I don't know the logistics behind all of that, but it really doesn't matter as long as we're here. But countrywide is the goal, you know, and I think it was, they wanted to deliver or serve all 50 states, even though Family Promise may not be in all 50 states. We know that they have counterparts and, you know, of the likes in our community can come from those 50 states. We can give to another state, I'm sure, like we're doing in the Northeast or the New England market, excuse me. So that's just it. We're here to give thanks. We thought, I think at one point it was going to be like, hey, we're going to have one giant meetup, the 11th of November, 22nd of November, excuse me. And we're all going to, you know, either get together at that same time. Of course, time differences are real in our country, but the goal was to assemble as a community, deliver the food as a community, serve the community, you know, with our community. And it was going to be on one day. So that's just it. You know, we're here. Everyone was told, all right, we need leaders for every state. We need a list of folks to serve those seats in different seats for calling for donations, doing social media, you know, getting in touch with the news outlets if we want to try to get news, you know, involved for publicity. Geez, I can't speak this today. Sorry. So just that. And so again, there's going to be a bunch of seats, bunch of roles, things that need to be addressed. Here we are. They're supposed to call each and reach out to each. I was lucky enough to have Pam, and Pam is starting to collaborate and with her peers. So I just said, hey, listen, can we, as for 6 states, and I think we're in 4 of them, Family Promises in 4 of them. So Vermont and Rhode Island, but we're going to have our community come to their local, you know, I think we called not a syndicate, Pam, we called it, I was calling
Affiliates,
affiliates. I keep wanting
The
to call it a
affiliates.
charter, a chapter.
chapters, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
We're called affiliates on a national level, but you can call us whatever you want. We're partners.
So
We're
the
just
affiliates,
partners.
thank you. And so it's just that and I said, listen, we're running out of time. And Pam was like, hey, just so you know, like, that's all cool and all, but yeah, Thanksgiving's pretty much like accounted for, and it all in good fun, right? We will still deliver on a bunch of other things. And this is a constant need, guys. This is not, you know, hey, sub 2 comes in 1 minute and they think they're going to solve the world's problems. These folks are doing this daily, so, and weekly and hourly, I should say. So we're going to serve and deliver whatever we can. I think it might be, let's figure out which area needs what. Bird's eye view, as I called it. We want to look at it and say, okay, I think we can serve. Yeah, maybe we have to pull back on something, maybe not, but yeah, we want to just do as much as we can. So I hope that summed it up to some degree, but who we are, just a community of like-minded real estate investors and entrepreneurs.
Well, we feel really blessed by this, by you reaching out to us, you know, with you people being a national organization, we are too. So the partnership is just outstanding.
I heard,
Does anyone else want to give the overview of Family Promise? So does everybody, all of your investors and everyone else outside of Family Promise understand who Family Promise is and what we do, or is that what you're looking for from us?
I think that we would look, and I think the young lady who actually, Kim, who I mentioned earlier, she just joined, I heard. So if she wants to also speak, but I would say that was one of the things, the goal for me in New England here in our community as leaders, we were thinking, hey, let's grab you or grab your counterparts or your peers, and let's get just what they may need, who you are, what you are. Because again, our message sometimes gets delayed. Some folks only come to this call. They only read our messages, you know, once a week.
Right.
So feel free to share that. And yeah, and if Kim, I don't know if I see you here, but if Kim, if you want to pipe in too, introduce yourself.
I
that'd be
do.
awesome.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I see you now. Awesome. Hand raised. Thank you.
what I want to do is thank you. Like, of all the people we've been dealing with, you have done an incredible job of rallying and bringing things together in a way that is really beautiful and exciting and heartfelt. And so really, I just want to thank you. And there's a certain story about Family Promise that I heard from our local, I think it was our local chapter, or maybe, I don't even know where I heard about it, but it was the thing that kind of pulled my heartstrings. So there's what Family Promise does as a like overarching, but there's this one story where I heard about a husband and wife, and they had 2 small children. The wife was a stay-at-home mom. The husband died unexpectedly, and they had babies. I think there were 2 and 1 or something like that. And the house was going into foreclosure, and they didn't know what to do. And Family Promise stepped in. Somebody had them reach out to Family Promise, and they not only got this family placed, but they helped the mom get job education and get a job. And then they sponsored her in being able to get a rental, and really stayed with her as case managers and with this family all the way through. And with knowing what our children are facing in this world in so many different ways, as much as we can do to help people who want to be in a family unit stay in a family unit, I think it's really extraordinary. And I know how special that is. And I'm really excited that Pam is here and is going to share. But that was the thing, like, it was that story. And they have probably thousands upon thousands of stories just like that. And so just massive gratitude to you and to Pam and to Family Promise.
Cool.
Well, we're so grateful to you too for finding Family Promise out there in California, and for the way that you feel about us, because that's exactly what we do. We're in 45 states nationally, and Patty, Rachel, Stephen, please jump in. I don't have to lead this pack. I'm like you, Justin, I'm just the organizer. I just bring people together, right? But we are in 45 states. We've got over 220 affiliates, 230 affiliates at this point. That number keeps changing because we keep growing. The need for homelessness assistance and keeping families together is throughout our country. Is just, we all know this, we all see it, right? We work in it on a daily basis, boots on the ground. And that's exactly what we do. Is we find these families. They're referred to us through, school districts, through our faith homes, through self-referrals, through so many different entities. People come to us from all walks of life, from all places, and their needs are all very different. But the common ground is that they don't have a home. They've lost their home because of life circumstances. It can be generational poverty in some instances. It can be generational homelessness in some instances, but it can also be the average working family, low to middle income, who lost their jobs during COVID. Excuse me, and I'm going to lose my voice because I've been talking all day. But they've lost their job, they've lost their jobs, and they've lost their homes, or it could be an illness or a divorce or something. None of us are above these life circumstances that cause people to lose their homes. So that's what we do, and we find these families. We have our own individual programs in our own communities. Rachel's community is different than mine, different than Patty's, different than Stephen's, and different from all the other Family Promises. So we focus on our own individual communities, the needs of our communities, and we build our programs according to what our community needs. And that's really a beautiful thing about Family Promise National, is they trust us to know our own communities best and serve our own communities best. But the common ground is that it is homeless families, and in some instances, homeless individuals. The 2 principles of Family Promise are interfaith and volunteerism. Interfaith, we're not a religious organization. We're a regular 501c3, but we were founded, Patty, Rachel, 40 years ago by Karen Olson, right? In Summit, New Jersey, and that's where our headquarters is. And she found a family who was living in the street or living in their car, and she went to her pastor and said, can we help this family? They ended up housing the family, feeding the family, helping them financially, getting them back up on their feet, and thus it began, and it spread like wildfire throughout her parish as well as other congregations in Summit, New Jersey. And that's how the original model started. And 40 years later, here we are with such growth. We're the premier homelessness organization in the country. When you look at like American Diabetes, American Heart Association, Family Promise is that organization that deals with our own mission of family homelessness. So that's what we do. I don't want to speak for the other family promises. I'd love for you to hear from each one of us because we're all different, just very quickly. But we're not the second largest affiliate nationally. We're the second largest static site, Justin. I don't want, because of the volume, the size of our building and the volume of people we can house on an annual basis.
I'm just gonna keep, you know, pumping those numbers up and just keep
That's
pumping
right.
up like Nashua. We have, we're the reigning champs, second place.
We are
60.
currently serving 60 families, but that's 24 families in residence in our building. Our supportive housing, our graduates who are still coming back for services on a daily basis, and people from the community on our wait list. So that's where you got the 60 from. It's actually 62 that we're currently serving throughout all of our programs.
So good. So good. No,
Yeah.
and guys, they took real quick, and then I want other folks to speak, but it's I think it was a Catholic school because of I could tell right away from the woodwork and, you know,
Yes, it was an old
just-
Catholic school.
they put 3 point some odd million into it. All, you know, I think they were raising these funds. So pretty cool where they got to take a place in Nashua, New Hampshire, and take a school, revitalize it, repurpose it. And I got to take a tour of that school. It was pretty awesome. And for us in real estate and some of us that nerd out in that type of industry of the construction, I liked it. I appreciated it. I actually want to do a school one day. So, cool. Thank you, Pam.
Thank you so much. And Patty, go ahead.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting, and listening to Pam and everything she said is very true, but we're sort of like Tupperware, in that there's this overreaching organization.
We
but
love Patty.
Yeah, we are. We are very different in how we do our presentations and our work within our community. There are just a couple of things that I would highlight. We have a static site now, and it's interesting that you're talking about Thanksgiving, because actually, as I sit here amongst all of the paperwork in front of me, I'm notifying 50 different community families who have signed up to buy Thanksgiving dinner for, I think it's 55 families who used to be in our program. I've been the director for 17 years at Seacoast Family Promise, and it is 20 years old. In October, we turned 20. And just like Pam, we continue to move and to grow and to think of what serves our community best. We have a great day center. We have 2 units of affordable housing. I have $1 million HUD grant that I'm partnering with a group in Dover for tiny homes. And also during COVID, which changed, you know, a lot of our lives, we purchased a building. So now we have a residential building for our families, our current families, and they go there at 5:30 in the evening, and we have overnight staff, and they leave at around 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. And we just broke ground this week on 4,000 square feet of additional rooms that we need, because the numbers are so great. So if anybody has any money, I'm happy to use some of it. I think the 2 things that stick with me over my 17 years is, number one, that our families, there is no way to identify our families. We have had people with master's degrees.
Right.
We have had, but somebody in the family got cancer. And as Pam said, any circumstance. But teaching people to respect money, to have financial wherewithal, to have a relationship with their money, to know how to budget, to know how to do all of those things in a world where everything is so fast, so expensive, and so debit cardy. That is a big part of what we do. And good tenancy, parenting skills. We have an aftercare program as Pam does. I know Pam does diversion, which is not something we do, but that is an extremely useful tool. And so we really are very broad. Now, 92% of our families over 19 years have remained in housing and remains stable, which we are very proud of. And we are a staff of 4, and then that we have our overnight folks. We have people throughout the community who provide meals every single night. And so we utilize now, because how our program has changed, is probably about 700 people a year. And people from without, and I just wrote a list of people who are making cookies for Santa's, pictures with Santa. And so it's really making families know that they are cared about and that they have a life. Healthy communities we seem to have forgotten about, and housing people in affordable housing who work in schools, and they're firemen, and there might be teachers, they might be paras, they might be machinists, they might be whatever. Workforce housing is so important, because what would we do with all of those people? And so, so I think this is an excellent conversation. Pam's probably laughing at me going, yep, I want to just invite you all to Seacoast Family Promise and let's spend the day and we'll figure this out. I just think, and I want to talk about the children, if I could, just for a second. And I was happy to have Kim mention that. As we look down the road in this country and what we will look like, I would suggest that if we don't take action now and help families that need help, and help them remain together, intact and stable, help people find educational opportunities, whatever. If every family that all of us from Family Promise here have touched, let's say each family had 3 children. If we don't help these families, then you risk those children.
Right.
For trauma, for lack of education, for anxiety, depression, seclusion, perhaps, addiction of some sort. The children in homelessness really suffer because they don't understand the loss of everything. And so if we don't fix that, who pays for that later on in this country? Who helps all of those children who grow up and perhaps live on welfare, or are ambling out there on the street homeless themselves because they didn't think that anybody cared. And to me, that is so important. I mean, we have put kids in prom dresses and numerous times, and graduation caps and gowns. We just bought a cap and gown and a yearbook for a young lady, single dad, 2 children, and she's graduating this year. And they've been gone from the program now for 3 years and have been stable. That's an expense that is over and above.
Right.
So I would suggest that what you are doing, hopefully, is going to help the future, make healthy communities now and into the future for all of us. And I won't keep going because, as you can tell, we could just talk forever about our programs. It is such a gift, I will say, as a director, to be able to get up every single day and go to work and help people. I mean, that for me, that is such a gift. And all of the directors that I know here in New Hampshire, they're great people, and we do it because we love it. We don't do it to get rich, because that's not going to happen. But thank you for what you do and what you will do across this country, across this world, because people have dared to step up and say, we can, so why don't we? And that's a very, very important thing. So thank you very much. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you, Patty. Nice to meet you. And I think I'll probably meet you at some point, being in New Hampshire too. So well said. And we'll have to chat about those tiny homes too, because that sounds like a cool project as well. Steve, Rachel.
We just had the ribbon cutting. There's going to be 43 of them.
So cool.
And I got,
Justin's going to get you 43 more.
We're going to do 50. Come on. We have to raise the bar.
And these tiny homes are okay, except we need also like some larger tiny homes, because
Yes.
a lot of our families have
Are
2,
larger.
3, and 4 children. And the developers they're amazing people themselves. I'd love to introduce you to them. So they've changed some of their architecture, so that, because now, in knowing what we do, right, they realize, okay, there's tiny homes, but there's families, right?
Right.
And what some people may not be understanding too, and sometimes we don't think about the things down the road, but guys, anyone in our community, in the sub 2 community, if you're not paying attention to what is being said, this is zoning laws that are being changed. These are builders that are coming into the community that are, you may not know of. Not saying you're going to sit there and do all these things, but what I just took out of that was I took about 7 takeaways from what Patty said in 5 minutes. And it was amazing. So like just those little things, you can see that communities are changing. And if, Pam and I had spoken, I said, Pam, I have a house that's vacant. What can we do with it?
Right.
Again, I didn't have this idea up until 48 hours ago. And she's like, oh yeah, we'll talk about that later. I got that. Like, no problem. So let's not think of like, oh crap, how am I going to donate my time and my this and that? Think about what is being said and what can change in your environment. So I don't mean to preach, but that was pretty
No.
awesome. Like the zoning thing too.
And
You know,
can I
and
just
the
say,
thing, if I can just,
Oh.
I'm sorry.
no, I'm sorry, Pam. I'd
If-
like to say one thing.
No,
You
I'm
as-
sorry, Pam, but she's going to keep talking. That's
I
why I
am.
love my Patty.
You as developers, educating people that we are doing housing, or helping families. The NIMBY thing is a very interesting, and I'm sure all of you in the real estate business have heard it, know of it. But these are good families. And so the other really important part is to help. I hope that we could, and Pam and Stephen, I hope we can help you understand our families, because that's
Exactly.
very important. These are good people. These are people who want to work. These are people who want to have a life, but people are priced out now. And so I share that, and I yield.
I call them the C students. They're not of any specialized population. They're low to middle income, hardworking, educated. They just can't make it. And that's the gap, and that's the niche that needs to be filled right now. And that's where we're all going with this in New Hampshire, at least. Rachel hasn't had a chance to talk about Massachusetts yet, but it is huge in New Hampshire. And the other thing too is we're seeing an awful lot of larger families, 3 and 4 and 5 children. That's a big family. That's a difficult apartment to find. Landlords won't rent to or sell to a 2-bedroom apartment to somebody with 3 children, especially if they're different genders. It's a really difficult situation right now, and it's only getting worse. You guys are a definite solution, and I'm so excited about this partnership. There's so much here. And as Patty said, to educate you too about where you put your investment dollars, not just in Family Promise, but in the community. This is real, and this is who we are in this world right now. So, we've got to look at all of this, all of it.
Maybe Steve, you go next, and then I'll end with Massachusetts.
Okay, sure. Because I'm also in New Hampshire, I won't take up too much time. So yeah, I'm the director in Concord, New Hampshire. I've just been with the program for about a year, and Family Promise of Greater Concord's only been around since 2015, so we're on the relatively young side. We just had an amazing success story where we had a single mom, 2 kids, 6-year-old and a 2-year-old, and she was pregnant. And she did absolutely everything she needed to do to get herself out of her position. And then we were able to help her find an apartment and she got into her apartment, I think it was 4 or 5 days before she had her child. And her 6-year-old did a countdown for 2 weeks every single day before he got into his new apartment. And we have pictures of the two kids standing at the door when they're about to walk in for the first time. And it's absolutely amazing, because they were in our program for a little while. And yeah, it's just a great success story. So one of the things we're looking to do is to get into purchasing some units so that we can help the people who come out of or graduate out of our program but can't quite afford to get into market rate apartments,
Right.
where we could help them get into our apartments, and then they would pay cheaper rent and they would still be with us as a program so that we can help them save money and then either get into market rates or possibly even buy their home themselves.
And that's exactly what we're doing too. And you know, Stephen and Patty and I work very, very closely here and very collaboratively here in New Hampshire. We're always chatting, we're always sharing things. Supportive housing is one of our expansion projects as well. It's the submarket independent homes, the independent apartments, and we you know, we have the main facility in Nashua. We are under purchase and sale to expand to another property in Derry. We'll close the second week of November, where we can house another 12 families there. But Patty mentioned too, there's a whole big piece of this. Other than people who can live with us, there is the community. And Family Promise does not say no, or doesn't say no to anybody. We say yes to everyone, even if they're not appropriate for our residential programs because they may have a criminal background record that you know, makes it inappropriate for them to live in a community with children. We have a diversion and prevention program. We prevent people from becoming homeless by getting diversion funding through private funding. We don't get any state or federal funding at all. Most of the Family Promises raise their own money. We did just get a $2.1 million grant to expand our Derry facility, our new facility, but that's for residential. Diversion and prevention is we collaborate with people in the community, other organizations, to be able to prevent someone from losing their home and pay their back mortgages, work with their mortgage companies, work with landlords to prevent evictions. So Family Promises work is not just who we house, but it's also the community that we serve with community case management. We're right now, in the past 9 months, we've served 247 individuals and families through our diversion and prevention program. And that's statewide, and we all work together here. So that's another growing need too, is keeping people in their homes, preventing evictions, preventing foreclosures. We've been doing this for 22 years, Family Promise of Southern New Hampshire. By the way, I've been the executive director for 10 years.
That's a good segue to Massachusetts, because the prevention diversion piece is huge here. I don't want to like bore everyone with Massachusetts stuff. But is anyone on this call from Massachusetts?
Oh yeah, we have all New England is here and beyond.
Oh, great. Okay, so then
Yeah.
this might be interesting to some people then. So,
yeah.
Massachusetts is, even though New Hampshire's like right next door, we're operating on a very different system, because the systems of services are different from state to state, and Massachusetts went about homelessness, specifically family homelessness, very differently than every other state in the country. So Massachusetts is what we call a right to shelter state, which was about 40 years ago. The state voted to approve a law saying that we are a right to shelter state, which means every family that needs shelter has a right to shelter. And the issue is like, it's not actually been that. And I think the whole state and the whole country has thought that it has been for years, because I would go to other states and they'd be like, oh my God, you're from Massachusetts, you're a right to shelter state, everyone must be, that must be so great. It's not, it's pretty awful. And I'd say that it's, it has its benefits in the sense that the state itself took on the ownership of trying to like house or shelter families who were homeless, but they didn't anticipate the level of need that would continue to grow, because at the same time as us declaring that we're a right to shelter state, we stopped producing housing. And Massachusetts is a very small state, as are most New England states, but it's very populated. And the cities kind of stopped developing low-income units, but just units in general. And then the suburbs didn't keep up at all. And you guys were talking about zoning laws earlier. I could talk about zoning laws for a long time, because that's the biggest issue in Massachusetts. So we're in this place now where, due to incredibly strict zoning laws and due to a lot of leeway that I think was given to developers to kind of avoid building certain affordable housing units and things, it really just kind of spiraled into this awful housing crisis that then led to a homelessness crisis for families. And now, as many of you who are Massachusetts residents should know, we are in a state of emergency, which was declared a couple weeks ago by the governor. And then the most recent update is they declared like a week or two ago that they were going to put a cap on the state shelter system. And that was very upsetting for us, because right now, unlike the other affiliates on the call, my affiliate focuses primarily on prevention and diversion. So diversion, the way I describe the two is, prevention is like, if someone is in a unit and has a lease, then we're going to do whatever we can to keep them on that lease and in that unit. They have a unit that they are kind of entitled to. And so we're going to try to negotiate with a landlord, pay some type of rental assistance or even incentive to kind of keep the landlord, from pursuing the eviction process. And so that's prevention. Diversion is basically the families not in stable housing. In fact, they're often in very unsafe housing situations, but the goal is to, how do we keep them out of shelter and out of from sleeping in their cars? Those are the two things that we're trying to prevent with diversion. It's pretty basic, I guess, but that means if you're sleeping on your friend's couch, can we convince your friend to let you keep sleeping on the couch? It means if you're staying in a hotel, can we figure out how to keep you in the hotel? Because we feel that although, and Patty and Pam both alluded to the trauma associated with homelessness. The trauma is kind of at different phases, right? At different stages of homelessness.
Right.
There's the trauma of hearing that you might not have a place to live. Then there's the trauma of packing up your things and moving to your friend's house. And then there's the trauma of coming to the realization that you can't stay with your friend anymore. There's the trauma of the first night you have to sleep in your car. And there's the trauma of the first night you have to sleep in a shelter. And all of those are kind of compounding. And as Patty talked about, it creates generational trauma, which leads to generational poverty. It's the cycle that keeps continuing. And so anywhere we can go along that different line of trauma and stop the trauma for a little bit is beneficial. And so diversion is really how do we keep families from literally entering a very traumatic shelter system or sleeping in their cars. So those are the two programs that we started to focus on during the pandemic, because we knew that it was going to be really bad. And we started to kind of shift our focus, even while there was an eviction moratorium, which was great in terms of helping families stay where they were, but it didn't stop them from accruing debt. So we were working with families who were in $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 worth of debt by the time they were getting evicted. So now not only are they going to get legally evicted because of non-payment, they are getting evicted and put into the housing market again with impossible amounts of debt, debt that is just never going to go away for the income bracket that they're in. And so that we were anticipating that. So we kind of shifted our programs and put a lot more focus on those clients than the shelter piece. We always provided shelter through the rotational model, but it was small. We only ever were able to serve about 4 families max in the rotation model. And that's why, the static site model, in my opinion, is a really incredible shift for a lot of the Family Promise affiliates. And I think Pam's model I have also been to the Nashua site, and it is pretty amazing. And I think that is, in my opinion, I think the static site model is less traumatic, and especially if it's a shelter that a lot of family promises, I think, put a lot of care into how they operate their shelters. So I think, you know, that in and of itself is us trying to prevent trauma, even if you do have to enter shelter. And I would say that when we operated our emergency shelter, that was our focus as well. Those families became like we did anything and everything for those families. And so then, you know, we're now kind of in this situation where we're serving roughly 300 clients, households a year through this prevention, diversion, and other program. Kind of, it's basically families that don't fit into that mold. And a lot of what we're doing is related to the state shelter system kind of collapsing and closing. And so we do a lot of basically like trying to help families even get into shelter at this point, because if we can't prevent and we can't divert, then the goal is to how do we get them from stopping to sleep in their car. You know, we work on a regular basis with families that are sleeping in their cars or sleeping outside. The stories are really traumatic for our whole staff and for the volunteers that are willing to do the calls and work with us. We have found that it's very hard to keep volunteers in the role of actually like fielding phone calls. We started having that volunteer role because our staff was just burning out and losing a lot of sleep, because you would just kind of hear these stories that were just really awful of families that were outside sleeping outside a Market Basket with a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. And so we started bringing volunteers in to take phone calls to help us kind of like almost put a barrier between when my case managers had to like work with the families directly, and then the volunteers couldn't stop crying every time they took the calls. And so then we had the volunteers like sit us down and be like, I think I can't really do this anymore. So it's been a very tough year, especially. And then with this cap on the shelter system, we're literally going into the winter with no course of action set in place for families that are about to be homeless in Massachusetts. And this is the first time in 40 years that that's happened. So we're in a very different situation, but I will say that New Hampshire feels the weight of what's happening in Massachusetts, because that's basically how far we've expanded in terms of families moving out of Massachusetts and Boston. So all of the New Hampshire affiliates, I'm sure, handle a lot of families that say they used to live in Massachusetts or are coming from Massachusetts, because it just keeps kind of permeating out. And I'm sure it'll get all the way up to Canada at some point, because it's pretty brutal. So I don't have as many like positive stories that like Patty and Pam shared. We do have success stories, but I think we're more in crisis mode as an affiliate than some of the other affiliates that are focusing on the shelter piece and offering like job training and things like that. We did that when we had shelter, but now we've realized that the need is with crisis management and trying to keep families safe at night so they don't freeze to death in their cars. So that's kind of our focus. It's not the happiest note to land on. So maybe if someone has a happier story, they can add that. We did just house a woman that was living in her car all through the summer. She's been working with our staff. Her daughter, she worked full-time 2 jobs, and her daughter was in the school district in the Beverly school system, and they had been sleeping in their car. We at first didn't have anything we could offer them for housing because they were over income for everything. They didn't qualify for subsidies. And we got them a Y membership, literally, so they could shower. And so the daughter had a place to go during the day. And then we were able to, through our connections and partners, we were able to get what's called rapid rehousing funding. We were able to get a landlord that we'd been talking to agree to house this family. And so she's no longer sleeping in her car. So I guess that's a happy story. So there, I'll end on that note.
Thank you. I'm sitting here going, I know of a landlord who won't sell this property that's distressed in Swampscott, Massachusetts. And I'm going, I'm just going to lay into him on like, Massachusetts, this is in crisis mode. Give up, do something, we'll find a grant. And it's a 2-family house. I mean, I don't know what, like, these are the things where I'm like, you can connect. We know about connecting. We do a lot of connecting for each other, for other businesses, for trade workers, for cleaners. Doesn't matter. There's connectors in our community. And these are the things where you got to think about where we're going, all right, there's a problem. How do we solve it? Or what can we do on some of these things? And of course, sometimes we're on the other spectrum. You know, sometimes we are the evil investor or landlords that, you know, get the bad name, you know, but there's good eggs here. And one of the things I just want to say is thank you for sharing. And what, if you were to say what you would need, because it might be different than what others need, what would your affiliate need? Is it gas cards? I hate to say it, but like, for me, it's
Yeah,
immediate going
we-
gas cards to put the gas on during the cold nights.
Well, so, and that's usually what we tell people in all honesty. Gas cards are huge. We have a ton of families that are their cars, their livelihood. Even like, I don't know if like Meineke or Jiffy Lube sell gift cards, but things that help them care for their cars is critical. When I say the car is their lifeline, it is truly their lifeline. If you have a car that you want to donate, like I'm sure Patty has a whole car donation program in the Seacoast, but those are like lifelines to families, like finding
There.
vehicles. But I will say too, you know, because our families are so transient, gift cards is what we find is the most beneficial to families here, because we can't give a family sleeping in their car a Thanksgiving turkey. But we can, you know, provide them with a gift card where they can go and pick the items that they know won't expire, that they can store without a refrigerator, that their kids like. And you know, that I think is, but it's tough because a lot of volunteer organizations and volunteers in general don't, gift cards feel impersonal, so it can be a hard ask, but I will say that the families appreciate gift cards a lot. And then I think, you know, in Massachusetts in particular, and I don't want to, I hope I didn't demonize landlords by any means, because landlords also are like our helpline, right? Like if we have a great relationship with a huge developer in the North Shore that has literally saved us in so many ways by just being willing to rent to our clients. But it's tough because you know, the flip side is that there are also landlords and developers that are pushing our clients out. And so it's, I will say that like, it just really depends. And like you said, it's just like I imagine this entire call is filled with good eggs. And I know that landlords have to evict, right? Like we have board members that own property that have had to evict clients, and there are justifiable reasons where people have to evict, and that is okay. I don't think that's causing the housing crisis, right? It's not causing homelessness. So I think ultimately in our area, it really is about like housing shortage. So like if you guys have connections to landlords that are willing to like take a voucher, or connections to landlords that are willing to work with a rapid rehousing program, which feels a little difficult to understand. And you know, if you have units identified, I have community development organizations that are chomping at the bit to build more affordable housing. So there's lots of ways that we can partner, but it is more focused on kind of like, I think, systems change, because we're dealing so much with crisis management, and the crisis management is tough, like to find volunteer opportunities for. So yeah, so that's a good question.
Thank you. No, and that makes total sense. So yeah, no, thank you. That opened my eyes quite a bit, because yeah, we hear success stories, and I heard some things yesterday and about the diversion program and other things. But yeah, it paints a picture and puts it in perspective when these are the things sometimes we forget about. You know, you see it every day. And so no, thank you for sharing. Sometimes we need to hear the crap to really realize, to be in someone else's shoes. So I'll say thanks again.
Hey,
Now-
Justin, can I say something real quick?
Absolutely.
So this is Anthony, by the way. Live in New York, but I got properties in Worcester. Me and my partner bought a 13 unit back in December, and 5 of the units were a group called Family House. I don't know if Rachel, you're familiar with them, but they had 5 of the units, and we were gonna do the typical thing a landlord was gonna do. We were gonna go in there and kick out, you know, Family House and make it a market rent. And we met with them, and it was a very
Friendly House.
yeah, Friendly House. Yeah.
Yeah, they're a great organization. I think they started as they absorbed a Family Promise affiliate at one point.
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. Yes.
So we met with them, and they had 5 units in this 13 unit. And we met a few of the tenants. They were just good people that were down on their luck, and
Right.
we love their philosophy. So instead of kicking them out, there was 5 vacant units. We gave them the other 5 units. So now they have 10 units in the building, and it's a win-win for everyone. I mean, as far as, not that, I'm not a total profit monger, but I do like profit, and, it's working very well on that end. And it's kind of a good, I feel like it's helping my karma. So for anyone on the call, I think these groups they work both ways. It's great for helping people out, but it's also, you're not exactly giving up the farm by working with guys that, guys and gals like you guys. It's a very win-win situation on both sides. So Rachel, we'll definitely connect. We'll see what else we can do together,
I will add too that, like, Friendly House is a really good example. If you go through an agency like ours to do this type of like partnership and renting,
Right.
Subsidies can be more reliable than if you're just fishing out for market rate, tenants. And the key though, I think, is like having some type of support. If you're worried about a family that is on a subsidy, like partner with an organization that's able to kind of stay in contact with that family and help. And that's why when I say we have a really great relationship with the developer / landlord in the Beverly area, that's kind of what we've worked with, is like, hey, we're here. And if you have any issues with tenants, like we've built a relationship with them. So like talk to us, and like we can help, address what's happening before it spirals, or, because you never really know what causes someone to not be able to pay rent. So doing it that way, where you can, lease up units using a nonprofit that is kind of there for support for the families that you're sheltering or providing housing to, is a really smart way to do it.
It is. And Rachel, thanks for saying all that, because I echo it. And I was going to say, I think someone asked a question in the chat. So our families and our programs throughout Family Promise, we have financial literacy courses that are mandatory to take. It's credit building. It's how to save money. As Patty said, having a relationship with your bank accounts, and you're understanding it and bringing it into your fold and having it be part of your life. That's what we teach through financial literacy. And then the parenting and family education courses. We do age appropriate courses too. We've got 8 teens that we're working with right now in residence, and we've got financial literacy going on for them. They're, sophomores, juniors, seniors in high school, and they're working their first jobs. And what do you do with your money? So we started a very, very young age with all of our education programs. And the relationships with landlords is where it's at, because you can count on someone who's gone through a nonprofit like Family Promise. Our families are well vetted for you. You're not going out into the cold and looking for families off the streets to rent your apartments or rent your units. They're vetted. They've got money in the bank somewhat. They've got, decent credit, and they've got decent jobs, because we do a lot of career building as well. So Family Promise is a good bet for you guys to look into and to partner with.
And I'd like to throw in a little dance about the cars. So years ago, vehicles are not easy to come by, and they're not inexpensive to fix. And I thought, well, if I ask people, they will donate their vehicles, and they do. So over the past 17, 18 years, we've been fortunate enough to, I want to say we're about 67 vehicles. And each one of those vehicles, each one of them either went to somebody currently in our program who had a vehicle that was not roadworthy, because so many people are driving cars that are non-inspectable. And I know that theory of there is no car that can't be fixed, but when you have a vehicle with a value of $5,000 and the repairs are $9,000, it's tough to find anybody who lends support to that. And the other thing is that we are in a time when we don't live in mass transit here in New Hampshire, and it is your lifeline. And we also have had families that that have left our program, and they're working and they're doing well, but their vehicles are old. And what happens when they are not fixable, when they are not inspectable, when they are not holding value, then there's that tripping point, and you don't want to go back there again. we have one mother who she just got a vehicle a week or so ago. And she was driving an old beater, single mom, 2 children. She was just on WMUR, New Hampshire Chronicle. We just had a show. And she, in less than a year being in LNA, she went to LNA training when she was with us. She won Caregiver of the Year for the state of New Hampshire. And she wants to go on and be a hospice nurse. You know, I have somebody else who's studying nursing and she wants to be a cardiologist. And so I think that I'm just going to throw this out there. You all had a dream about something in your life that you wanted to do, somebody you wanted to be. I had it. All of us have had it. These folks have that too. So a lot of times talking to the parents and saying to them, before you kind of got, you know, married and had all the kids and maybe had to, you know, what is it that you wanted to do?
Right.
And to help people sort of go back and realize that they're young, many of them, and they have their whole life ahead of them. So if they want to work in the medical field, if they would like to become a machinist, if they would like to be an electrician, a plumber, you know, we're big now at helping people get into the trades. And so helping these families stay going to work, stay going to doctor's appointments and the kids after school activities and all of those things with transportation, and then helping them utilize their vision translates again to the kids. And so that, and as Rachel so aptly put, you know, what are you showing your kids? How to look at trauma and move forward, or let it own you. And so vehicles is a big thing. So anybody who ever, and there's a lot of seniors, and I go out and speak to the seniors, and was a senior who just donated the car. They laugh at me here. They say I sell the grass. And I suppose I would, I'd sell the grass, but there are so many things that go into these programs. And it was very nice for you to say, you know, you hear things from each of us, but there are so many components that we are all doing. It would be impossible to just, you know, do a Zoom or to do, you know, an hour and tell you. I mean, it's just crazy. So we'll see what happens.
You know, and to follow up with that too, Patty, and so well put, each child has a dream about what they want to be when they grow up too. And so, and all of our teens. So looking them in the eyes and giving them hope, looking those children in their eyes and giving them hope for their future. Because oftentimes they're so traumatized, they're not happy with their parents right now. So we spend an awful lot of time with our children, nurturing, loving, giving them hope, giving them opportunity, seeking opportunity for after school programs and Taekwondo classes and dance lessons and all the things that children want to do. You know, we do that too. We do that too. It's our children. And once you're a part of Family Promise, you're always part of the family. So our graduates never leave us. Oftentimes they come back and they volunteer and they cook meals and they're on our speakers bureaus, and they're the best stories and best examples and the best speakers.
Yeah, I have a board member who was a former mother. I have 2 former mothers who work part-time for us as well. You hope you make somebody as reliable enough so you would hire them, and they've been great workers. So, yeah.
Oh, this Pam. Oh, Sunday, what can we do?
I just want to say to, you know, Pam, Rachel, Patty, and Steve, thank you so much. This started out as a seed from Kim talking to Pace, our leader at Sub 2. And you are amongst a bunch of go-givers here, and starting at the top with Justin. So this is not a one-off where we're just doing this once. This is, hopefully we will continue this relationship and do this for many years to come. not just during Thanksgiving, but, you know, with other needs that you guys have, just like Anthony, you know, with his building, that's fabulous, you know, so now that I didn't know what Family Promise was. I was at another fundraiser, and through conversation with this person who is in the group, she's like, oh yeah, Dee Dee over there, she sits on the board of Family Promise, go talk to her. Cause that's when Kim told me that we were hooking up with Family Promise. Dee Dee then hooked me up with with Rachel, who is in Santa Clarita, California, Santa Clarita. Then she put me with the regional person, and then the regional person, Stacy, hooked us up with Mike, who's in New Jersey. And that's how it all started. So it starts with a seed. So everyone has a dream. Kim had a dream and saying, what am I going to do for Thanksgiving? And so everyone has just a little seed. And if we plant it, you never know. Look we're in almost every one of your states, in multiple locations in some states. So, and we started this, Justin, October 7th is when I was in a meeting with Justin. And so this is how far we've come, and we're moving at the speed of light. We have a target. Let's see how far we can get to the target. So thank you everyone for chipping in and helping and showing the East Coast over there what we can do. So we're doing this nationwide, and I'm blessed that we're here with you and that we can give back, because the thread of sub 2 is we're all go-givers. So
I love that. That's amazing. That's just amazing. What an amazing group of people you are. Oh,
well,
it's
thank you
just,
for all the work that
you're
you're doing
blessed.
boots on the ground and helping all these families that are in need. And what a great time to start launching and doing this with you is during Thanksgiving, because we are very thankful and blessed and fortunate that we, you know, can have the opportunity to give back.
Thank you so much.
Well
Has
said,
anyone
Sonia.
spoken to our national office, by the way?
Yes, Mike.
Okay, good.
We have been Kim has talked with the leader, Pace Morby, his assistant, and with Mike and Kim. They've all collaborated, like I think 2 weeks ago, Thursday. And
Good.
so they're on board. They're doing national press and all that kind of stuff. So it is
This is
official.
Beautiful.
Like
Good.
I was contacting people and they didn't even send out the national saying that we're partnering up. And I'm like, oh yeah, we are. So
Oh,
yes,
this is great.
official.
This is
Okay.
wonderful. Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for all you go-givers. Keep up the good work. Thank you,
Good
Justice.
job, Sunday. Well said. So I think, I mean, now it's almost like the time where we go, all right, break out your checkbooks. Let's go. It's time for donations, write some checks. But what I want to say now is we've heard what the mission is. We heard what's going on. Now it's how do we fill the needs now? And then the next step is we'll do one step in front of the next, and subsequently thereon, you know, the partnership will continue, but we need to deliver. We need to actually, and I think I said it yesterday, Pam, I said, I don't want to, you know, overpromise and underdeliver. What we all sort of come from is we like over delivering. So, you know, but we have to we have to do the first step. So I think what we will need to get together, if we can get some of the other affiliates together, we want to get sort of what everyone is looking for. You know, I know I have a good sense of New Hampshire, Massachusetts. Other than speaking with Natick, you know, Beverly is, you know, it's gift cards. They need immediate, like, things, I guess we'll say. And I lost my words. And then, but, you know, we have Portland, Maine, we have to worry about, and I think there's one more coming up in Maine. And then subsequently back in New Britain, we'll take care of that. And I believe Keith spoke with someone in New Britain, and there's 35 families or so that will be helping.
One thing to note, Portland is a really unique affiliate and they're really wonderful. They serve primarily, almost I think entirely, an immigrant population. So I know that they have a lot of needs specific to the population that they serve. Things that may not be like food drives and things like that might be difficult because there might be a cultural difference in the types of food that that their clients would like. But they're a really unique and awesome affiliate that primarily serves the migrant population, which is really cool.
Well, thank you, Rachel. And hey, I don't want to really spotlight someone, but I'm going to bring them. John Luca, are you listening? I think you were in here. So the gentleman who runs this, John. Hey, John, can you share a little bit about, I guess, what Maine, like, you know, if there is some needs up there that you might even be able to come up with some thoughts. Because I believe you and Z are really well linked up with some of the immigrant population and some of the folks that are just coming into the country and their first stop is Maine. I don't mean to highlight, if you can just share 2 seconds.
Hey, yeah, thank you. I actually just hopped in and I was hearing all the things that are going on. Thank you for the opportunity. Me and Z, we work together, and we're both from a third world country, almost like. And there is a lot going on in Maine. I think you guys have recently heard it that we had a lot of, besides being the immigrants that are coming in, there was a lot of shooting. There was a shooting that took place, I think, a week and a half ago now. And there's a lot of things, a lot of people that are donating to a lot of people that are affected, food drives and things like that. Besides that, there is a lot of immigrants that are coming in Maine. Maine is a very multi-diverse cultural place, and there's a lot of people coming from different countries. That a lot of them don't have housing. Some of them get put into hotels, and a lot of them are now being spread to a lot of different cities, just to be able to for them to meet, you know, for them to be able to leave. And so you find a lot of different groups in a lot of different cities now, when hotels are all filled up. And actually, they used to have like a big complexes where, the expo is where people come in and play sports and things like that. And so they would fill the whole place with immigrants that have come out of different places, just so they can all sleep and go to places in the morning. And so there's a lot of that that's going on. And so also a lot of housing stuff that housing has become a very crunch thing in Maine. And so anything with housing, governments giving out grants for people to, maybe if you say I'm building this to be able to have affordable housing or whatever, they have a lot of opportunities that are coming up for that. But because I just started listening, I just hopped in. I wasn't sure exactly what the topic you guys are focusing on, but this is just a little bit of what I've catched of. But maybe there was a specific topic that you guys were sticking on when it comes to helping and doing all the different things.
John, that was perfect. I just wanted to highlight you. I just wanted to introduce you. You and Big Dog Keith up there are holding it down. While I know some of our other, I know Z and Chelsea are in Texas right now, but no, I just wanted to highlight you. I just want to bring you on. I know you have a story. So, and I think I want to conclude with that essentially, other than I'd love to just put it back to Pam to almost let her conclude where, what we're going to get now, what we're going to do is we're going to collaborate. And I think we're going to let her and her team. I met Joanne yesterday. I met Matthew yesterday. So she has a team of folks that are going to help, and they're going to do some outreach. I'm going to assume, I'm going to put words in her mouth right now. And we're going to get it. Like I said, I keep saying that bird's eye view of New England. And then that's where we're going to come in, guys. And I'm going to treat it as almost one state, but with just a wish list almost of, baskets, I think is predominantly what we're honing in on. So I'd like to just touch base on that and then let's set everyone free.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you
Pam-
so much. We can touch base. We can touch base and figure out how that works best for all of you. By way of, I don't know what the next steps are. I don't know what you need from all of us to be able to move forward. And all of our needs are different, but some of them are common. So would you need for us to get together and reach out to the other affiliates and find out what they need and then get that to you? Is that?
Yeah, I think that would be the best. I think we've gotten in touch with almost everybody. And I think that if we can sort of just get on one chain, I don't know if this is uncommon enough, but if we can, we try not to bring too many cooks into the kitchen And it's like, hey, let's make the Christmas wish list, and we'll call it but for
Right.
Thanksgiving.
Right.
And I know you and I spoke for an hour and a half yesterday, or 2 hours, but I have a good sense of what we need in New Hampshire, Massachusetts. Yeah, we'll do that. And we're going to backfill what right now is what we need right now.
Okay. I think
And
the next best step is for Patty, Rachel, Stephen and I to get together separately and make that list. So it's organized for you. And then, yes, of course, my staff will help out in reaching out and, assisting with anything you need. But I think the four of us should probably have a conversation. Also, Danielle and Natick, we should bring her in as well. And our affiliate up in Maine. I just want to let you know, the gentleman who's from Maine, we are actually opening another affiliate in Belfast, Maine. I know that that's really far up there. Maine's such a big state, but the need in Maine is so great. So they're opening another Family Promise affiliate in Belfast.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know, and guys, if you're sitting there wondering, going, hey, I thought we were doing Christmas dinners. We still will do some
Yeah.
food to some degree, but there are needs. We missed the boat a little bit on some of this, just so you know. Pam told me, she goes, actually, we're like, I think Christmas was concluded. The Christmas like signups and food drive and all that was already like, she's like, that's October.
No, it's not concluded by any means. We do have needs for Christmas. Thanksgiving was a little bit different.
Yeah.
We've got large soup kitchens and shelters in Nashua, so we work collaboratively with them for Thanksgiving, but Patty might need things and Rachel might need things and Stephen, you know what I mean, for Thanksgiving. So does that make sense, Patty, Rachel, Stephen, that we have a conversation? Yeah.
And like I said, we just want to, we have to work fast too. So I want to deliver. So I think I'm going to try to keep it into, if I may, the original goal of delivering, for food. So whether that's cooked or raw goods,
Okay.
delivered, like I said, in a basket or some sort of presentation, which it's not about the presentation, but you have the idea. And then if folks are already taken care of, and I know there was some diversion program folks and there was some other folks, if they're, then we talk about the market basket gift cards and the household. I have the list that you gave me of the shampoos and the body washes and the lotions and the diapers and the wipes, guys, all that stuff that's everyday stuff that they need every day, everywhere. So I think that if we can do the combination of the food and the baskets of goods, I think we're going to be able to hit our mark.
And then Patty has grass for sale. So.
And there's always
And
grass for sale. I know someone who's
I'd like to echo Rachel, gas cards.
Got it.
In our place, somebody gave me a $500 gas card, but I don't have anyone to give a $500 gas card to, because that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. So I still have that $500 gas card. And I'm trying to let them to break it up. So I say to people, $25 gas cards.
Right.
$25. And though that is so important, because people come and if they haven't been working, if they lost everything, and gas is expensive and people have to go and pick up applications and do all of these things. Gas cards. And that, I know Pam probably told you many others, grocery cards, Walmart and all of those things, but boy, gas cards.
Right.
Tis
Yeah,
the season.
Yeah. And I know
Tis the
folks
season.
that you can buy diesel fuel and they'll put that in a home heating oil. And so, I mean, even that $25 could heat someone's house for probably 2 nights, 2 days,
Right.
Conservatively, or maybe more, but it's just,
But that's 2 nights.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
two nights.
2 of the worst
Huge.
nights. Yeah.
Right.
So awesome. I mean, I think we hit the mark, Pam, I want to let you guys go.
Okay.
I think we hit the mark. Unless there's anything else you guys want to add, I appreciate your time and I appreciate you coming on here. Appreciate you being open to this idea. And yeah, it was a little chaotic, but I told you we're entrepreneurs, so we're all chaotic.
And you know what? We're executive directors. We are too. You got to live in this world to understand it. So we're with you.
We're in good company. Awesome.
We're so
yeah.
grateful. This season of thanks and gratitude, we're so so grateful to all of you.
Mm,
You're an amazing
thank
group
you.
of people, and I've choked up a couple of times. You're fabulous. Thank you
Yeah. And
from
guys,
our hearts.
any
Thank
questions?
you very much.
Anyone raise your hand or speak up? But we'll let these guys go, these ladies and gentlemen. Cool.
We'll talk
Then-
soon.
Then
Thanks
there should be
again.
$25 gift cards from at least 40 some odd people here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're the best.
You talk to you soon.
Good night.
Thanks so much.
You
Bye.
got it. Bye. Thanks everyone for being here. You know, it's not real estate all the time. It's not, you know, we got it. This is the stuff that makes this is, I'm going to go on a soapbox for real quick. Like what I've noticed in myself, just doing these things, I've shut off my business for like the last 48 hours. And it's like, you know, this shit to do, but this will move the needle further than if I grinded that 48 hours out. I promise you to God that the change has been real since I've just put everything else, like all my personal kind of shit aside. So no one asked for that. I'm telling you, I'm preaching, but I see it daily. And it's every day. It's like the momentum is coming because of shit like this. And it's self-fulfilling, but it feels good to give. And when you're gifting, it's not giving. You're gifting, you think about it. Oh shit, I gotta think. That's gifting. Go wrap a present and go give it to grandma. When you do shit that's just random and that is giving. And that is the law from that book that we've read. And we met that author, if you were here years ago, The Go-Giver. So you just do it. You know, we have no idea what's going on. Just go with it. So again, no one asked for that. I know people don't like hearing me all the time, but I felt compelled to like just lay it down. But if you're here, I appreciate it. I took some screenshots to see who was here and who's not, because that shit means too. And those are people, that's the people who we're going to show in our filtered environment. And the people you want to do business with, the people that should be in this room. And the people that aren't here, they're filtering themselves out. So, and for this reasons why, of course, but that's it. That's all I'll say. And who's got the night?
I just wanted to say I agree with you 100%, Justin. I took a day off today too. So today I was able to get in touch with the Natick Center. We had a Zoom with Courtney. And yeah, I mean, had I not taken a day off, I probably wouldn't be able to, you know, reach out to them or do any of this today. So I took a day off and I'm glad I did. I feel really good.
Yeah, you did it. Thank you for that. I may have snapped and said like, oh, why would we want to do that? But there was a reason for that.
Like,
So,
Justin.
well, no, of course, because I'm like, oh, we're all supposed to be in this tonight. So I didn't know
I
if like
know.
maybe you didn't get the memo.
Yeah,
But-
no, actually, that's what I wanted, but you know, she wasn't available, so I'm like,
So you took it upon yourself to,
You know,
to
I'll
take care of
take-
business.
yeah, I'll take
Thank
what
you.
you can give me. Yeah,
Thank
so,
you.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah.
it's been there's a lot of crickets. So thank you for doing that.
of course.
That's it. Who had this tonight? We talked about it over the weekend, but I forgot who had the night. I thought it was New Hampshire. Then I heard it was someone Massachusetts.
Yep.
Oh, I thought it was you. Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Is it? Yeah, it's us, right, Santiago? All right, he's muted.
Correct.
Cool. Yeah, well, first of all, I want to thank Justin, you know, for kind of spearheading this thing. You know, like you said, like he's taking a sacrifice from his business to do this. So, you know, we all gotta kind of be there to support each other and do what we can to give back. You know, it's a good for sub 2. And it's just, you know, it's the law of attraction. I believe in that. Like if you give back, you know, it's gonna come back twofold. So this stuff goes a long way as far as getting our name.
Fivefold, bro. Fivefold.
Right.
Like probably even more. But sorry.
Tenfold.
I'll mute myself.
No, you're good. Jump in whenever, dude. This is an open forum, but so yeah, want to thank everybody first of all for being here. I thought that was a great presentation, and I think we're all excited to pitch in. I see, you know, a few, you know, newer faces in here. So if it's your first meeting, I'd like to go around and just do a quick introduction to get you guys kind of acquainted to the group. So let me just look through here. Jeremy, have you been on this, or Mo, have you been on these calls before? Okay, you're good. And what about Jeremy?
Jeremy's brand new. Well, brand new with us. I think he
Okay.
switched.
Yeah, it's up. I'm new to the New England group. I've been in sub 2 for 8 months now.
Okay.
So I made it to the meetup on Saturday. Was
Yep.
it?
Yep.
But yeah, it was great to meet everyone. I'm up in Lake George, New York, kind of right bordering Vermont. So I'm looking forward to working with you guys.
Beautiful. What are you working on? Like, what do you do? What are you looking for? How can you bring value to the group? Tell us a little bit more about that.
I've had about 30 years construction background, remodeling houses, tearing them down, building them up. So I'd like to bird dog for people around there. I love looking at houses and trying to figure out the purpose of them. You always have 1 or 2 houses I'm trying to figure out what to do with. Right now I'm up in Ticonderoga is kind of my stalking ground. It's local, but I'll be heading out to Colorado soon. But if you guys have anything that you need me to look at, if you guys are walking a house and just want a second set of eyes on it, definitely give me a call. I can FaceTime you. We can kind of walk the house. I can point out areas that may be a concern to me. But just trying to network with you guys and meet everyone is the biggest thing.
Love it. Yeah, no, it was great meeting you, and I'm glad that you're getting involved in the New England group. So that was awesome.
Yeah, a lot of ties in Massachusetts from Amherst originally. So I lived there for 21 years and partied at UMass, and great little town.
That is. Anyone else here go to UMass?
I'm from Amherst and I went to UMass. Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, you too. Class of 92. A long time ago.
I knew some dude that wrestled there, I think.
Yeah, I did for about a week or so. But waking up at 5 in the morning to wrestle wasn't up for, I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, I don't think they have a really good wrestling program. But I'm just kidding, Santiago. You know that was for you.
Yeah.
Cool. So who else do we have in here that hasn't been here? Anyone want to volunteer that is a newcomer that wants to introduce themselves to the group? Don't all jump at once. Santiago.
Hey, where's Lily right now? Is Lily and Courtney out?
Yeah, they're like at dinner or something.
I saw a laptop out and I saw them out. I'm like, huh, you're sitting there. You're not the same background, I noticed. So
we just
good.
Left.
Oh, did
We're
you?
here.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're no car.
I was just filling the dead air.
A little Mexican food.
Nice. I love it.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
I mean, I'm not new, but I've been absent for a while. So
okay.
Hello, I'm back. Andrew Maynard. Some of you might know me, or a distant memory at least. Others, I kind of filled the role of an integrator before. Interested in doing that sort of thing again. Also looking at short-term loans and the like. Sort of in a soul searching stage, trying to figure out what the next step is. But I had a fairly successful wholesaling business last year that I ended up stepping away from earlier this year. So I have done it before. So if anyone's interested, I would love to chat. Hey, Ari, how you doing?
Where were you wholesaling, Andrew?
Yeah.
Say it again?
Where were you wholesaling?
Massachusetts, Connecticut, and New Hampshire. If you guys know Mike Gomes, I was working, I was his integrator in 2022.
Nice. We definitely do know Mike Gomes.
Yes.
Beautiful. All right. Who else we got here?
I think most everyone else on this call has been here before.
Okay.
Hey, I'm going to try to assign you guys one of you host. Unless someone else has co-host. I'm on Ari's right now.
Don't know.
And I'm good at this, but I'm not right now. So, what are you guys tossing out today? I know you guys are you guys doing more calls? So if people got leads, people got sellers you guys need to get in touch with and hit them up and do some different objections? Is that what you guys are pioneering these days?
Yeah, so yeah, well, Cynthia, I look like you're about to talk and go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, yeah, so we John Fothergill and I, we do JV with sub-2 students, helping them close their deals, helping them structure deals. So I know not everyone here is looking to be a closer, looking to get on phones, but if you guys have any common objections that you guys are coming across when speaking with sellers or speaking with agents, now would be a perfect time to kind of bring those up. We can talk about overcoming them and seeing how we go about our calls.
Another thing that we're potentially thinking of doing is doing like a live streaming a block once a week, where I'm not sure if anyone was able to catch the live stream we did from the mastermind we did, but Justin, again, like stepping up to the plate, created a really cool space for sub-2 students to kind of record themselves, get together, brainstorm, talk about deals, and just generally kind of connect more, right? I mean, the whole point of this community is to kind of work with each other, do deals with each other, learn from each other's mistakes so we can all elevate, right? So what we're thinking of doing is going live once a week for like, I don't know, probably 4 to 6 hours. And we're just going to be calling sellers. So calling our leads. If anyone has leads they want us to call. If we're live and you have a seller that, has an objection that you can't overcome, we want you guys to be able to just bring those to us and we'll call them for you. Or even if you want to just jump on and make some calls and we can go over them and maybe tweak a few things. So just generally just trying to, again, just, give back to the community and let people see, how we sound on the phone, how we kind of overcome objections. Because again, when you really boil it down, there's only so many objections. They're just said in different words. You just gotta learn to know in what situations, kind of what objections are, you're likely to see. So Ashley, I see you right there. You would love to call leads. Cool. So, and this is going to be like an open invite, right? Like we'll be more than happy to have anyone come to the studio if you want to jump in and get some airtime. And again, like if you're in real estate, and Pace is doing this training all about social media, and he makes a really good point. And the thing about Pace is he boils things down very simply to make you understand concepts that like seem obvious to people, but they just don't grasp it. And one of them was, like, would you partner with somebody on a burger shop and your partner was like, I don't want to put a sign outside that says we sell burgers. You know what I mean? So it's like, why would you not advertise that you're selling burgers? So to kind of wrap that back into what I'm saying is, even getting on the podcast or getting in front of the camera and recording yourself, making calls, walking properties, whatever you're doing, you're just creating clones of yourselves, and it's just essentially free marketing. So just wanted to touch on that a little bit of what we're thinking about doing. The studio, Justin, I don't know if I can tell them like what town and everything. Instead, you can, I don't know if you want to jump in, but
Yeah, I was just about to take off too, but yeah, we need to just sync up some schedules, right? And we'll get on some sort of rhythm, because I'm going to, and it's in New Hampshire, guys. It's right next to Concord. It's in Pembroke, but it's not like the most convenient place for everybody. But at the end of the day, if one person can be there or not, or when you come there on special occasions, that might make it so much sweeter, and we're going to do something consistent there, or at least I'm going to try. I know I will do something consistent. It's 25 minutes from me door to door. So, I might do a Wednesday podcast, maybe in the PM, or a Wednesday, probably can't do Thursday. And we're trying to get on, again, I've said it, but we're going to try to do the free Facebook group. I've gotten a yellow light, not a green light. I've gotten the yellow light, so it's, we want to but I have to be consistent. So it's every Wednesday, hell or high water. And that is a cool thing that I'm trying to put on my schedule, things that the non-negotiables and the things I can't miss it. You know, of course it'd be cool where someone else gets to put, jump in, do a Q&A on the free Facebook group. There's 100-something thousand people. I couldn't even tell you how many people are on that page. So those are the things I want to start pioneering and getting going. And then we had our little assembly the other day. This space is tight. It can't fit everybody, or I would put everybody in there. But I told those boys, they were doing calls, and I'm like, you got to start doing live calls and stream it. And in nothing, you got to work the bugs out. You got to do all the things, but you'll get gems every night. And then those are cool things where they can then take those clips and then put them out in there forever out there. And then they can build their brand. And if someone jumps in and they're doing the same thing and there's some camaraderie and no one likes to talk to sellers, but then you start talking to them and then you got a good one. And I could see it, turning into a cool thing. So that's how you bring value. You're bringing more value to people, but it's okay to have two agendas. It's okay. But you're bringing value to people, but you're also putting your content out and building your brand. So that's what it's for. It's still in the end. We just did our first live. So I'll try to wrap it up. But we had technical problems and I'm still working a bunch of stuff and we're buying connectors and cords and things. And I'm learning right now. I've put a lot of that time into that space too, away from the business. And Ari, I'm taking that cord. If you're listening, you're not getting it back. So that's just
it. I just ordered another one on Amazon.
Good. Order 2 more.
Came in today. So I was like, yeah, that's yours.
I was dead in the water with one of my cameras and it's back dead in the water without Ari's cord. We went to whatever. So that's just it. I want to make it available for everybody. Of course, it's not a free for all. I'm buying all the snacks and the waters and the things and all that. And I want to go light and easy. It's going to be reserved. There'll be some policy in place. And I have tenants above, but we'll see how it works. And we're going to do we'll flow. So the 2 boys are going to come up there. I call them the 2 boys, but the 2 Johns, we'll start getting it in. And that's when people open the door, they come in and you guys come with them and we'll do a podcast or we'll do an interview. Come on in. We'll do special events. But I can't have a party there because I do have to make money with that place. So I can do this. And that's it. I'll stop talking.
Appreciate it. Love it. Cool. All right. Cool. I mean, I'm just gonna open it up. What do you guys want to talk about? Where are you guys struggling? Where are you guys having successes? You guys want to ask me questions about what I'm doing? Tell me what's going on. How can we kind of bring value to you guys?
I got a question about lending.
Okay.
So we got a deal right now in Connecticut. We were planning to wholesale it. It needs like $10,000 worth of work, like deep clean, power wash, fresh paint on the inside. Then it's good to go on market. The ARV is 720. Dude wants 615 cash. We were gonna talk him down a little bit, but is there such thing as a lender? Is it like a gap lender or something where I can have somebody bring in that 600 cash just to cover us till we get to closing? Is there something like that out there?
As far as, I know this hard me.
It's in
Again,
Westport,
Ari.
What, Westport or Weston?
Hold on. Let me pull it up. Pretty sure it's Westport.
Okay. I wanted to make sure. So there's another one that Drew and I have in Weston that's similar situation, but we went and it's a total mess. So I wanted to make sure if it was the same one, I was going to be like,
No, I'm working this with Drew too. So we're trying to figure out how we can get the funds for this, and if there's something like a gap lender or something out there.
well, how long is it going to be? Are they essentially able to carry it?
Yeah.
He needs to close in like 30 days.
How long is it going to take for you to?
We could literally have everything done in like a week if we lined it up right. Like it literally just needs a power wash of the outside, like a basic trash out and some paint and a deep clean.
All right. So
Maybe I'm being too optimistic, but why don't you try to do that? And then if it gets to like 2.5 weeks and you need it, then look for someone to come in and just float it until it closes.
Say that again, you cut out.
Yeah, you cut out.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying at week like 2.5 or something like that, then see if you still need cash for it, deal with it at that point, get a gator to fund it and float it for, whatever until it closes.
But I need to bring cash to the table to close.
Yeah, you would need like a gator or something.
Yeah, so I need like a gator to
Yeah.
basically fund me for however, like maybe like a month or two until it sells, and then
So,
that way.
all right. So, what do you think the ARV is?
It's 720.
720. All right. So it's gonna cost you about 6% to sell it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's seven. Let's say 675. How much you trying to make on it?
Lock it up at 600, so we'll make like 75 off of it, and me and Drew will split that.
Okay. So minus 75. So that's okay. Wait, hold up. So 720 times 0.94. That's and you're trying to lock it up for 600?
Yeah.
Okay. So at 720, if you just take off the sales, right? So 6% to sell it.
Yep.
That's 676,000.
Yep.
So you have 75,000 to play with, right? So it's gonna cost you how much to close?
Maybe like a couple grand max, like what, 2-3 grand?
On a $600,000 purchase, probably be like 8 grand.
For a cash deal?
All right, well, all right, so let's go. All right, so let's say what, 2,500?
Yeah, sure.
All right,
At least 4 to 5 months of carrying costs through. Need to buy it at 550.
Yeah, if your ARV is 720, I don't think you should be buying this thing.
I don't think you should be buying. I was just saying that because you got holding costs and then you got another 10,000 in reno, and then you're gonna have whatever holding costs for the gator money,
Yeah.
whatever, and that's gonna be steep. You're looking at probably 20 or 30 grand. A gator's gonna want a good return, and like Gordon said, I mean, if the thing doesn't sell right away,
Houses are definitely sitting on market longer
but
because of
definitely,
interest
especially
rates.
going in the winter, you wanna like your ARV, I would take at least 5% off of that, off the top, just because winter usually is a down market.
Okay. So lock it up at 550. Easy.
Yeah. Oh, is that Gordon Thornton's here? Okay.
Yeah, dude.
Special guest appearance.
Yeah. Ari,
Like-
that's what we were thinking. It's a super nice area, super desirable. So we were thinking it would move slightly quicker.
So it may, but you don't want to bank on it.
Yeah.
Unless, yeah, what Chris said is what I was gonna say. If you already have an end buyer in mind, or if like I know Drew works with a realtor, Gary, pretty frequently. See if there's someone that is willing to buy at a certain price,
Yeah.
then you may be able to take some of those costs off. But you don't want to have it sit on the market with the hope that it sells quickly, especially like you're in the middle of the school year. It's not a nice time to buy or move. So your buyer pool is much more limited. Come
Right.
April, that's when people are going to be interested.
Yeah.
Thanks, Seth. I'll reach out to you, dude.
Yeah.
Mo, you got a question?
Yeah, I do actually. I brought this up to Matt this week. So met this realtor. He's got a property in Westfield, Mass.
Okay.
That he's trying to sell, but it seems to me like he's trying to basically have his cake and eat it too. 'Cause
Oh,
when
yeah.
yeah, when I presented it to Matt, he kind of agreed. It's got a lot of stuff here. I don't know if I should put it on the chat because he really sent me just this long ass text with everything he wants. And like I said, it just seems, I just wanted to get an opinion
Yeah.
from everybody.
Okay.
And,
Oh,
I
is
just
this
put it
still
on
it?
there. Yeah, I just put it on there, but it's his property, a 2-family house. You can see he's trying to do a wrap, but basically he's trying to get 50K for himself to walk away and then still cash flow afterwards through a wrap. I'm very new to all this and just with no experience whatsoever. But just right off the top, it just seemed a little
Wait,
like
so
too
is this
much.
is this the seller holding the note in first position?
Yeah, there's a realtor. This is apparently his property.
Okay.
Like it's his property, so he's not actually selling for somebody. It's his actual property. And he, I met him. He knows I'm in sub 2, so he brought it up to me. Hoping that I can help him out. But like I said, this just seems like he really is trying to.
Here's the other thing, Mo. Keith, and I and Alex, if he's on here, came across a property that was also listed. It was a realtor owned listing. Legit, he has been trying to sell for the last 2 years and steadily increasing the price every time he does an adjustment. Not decreasing it. The market's going down, and he's every time it's a $10,000 increase. So for someone like that, the problem is, I mean, unless there's additional pain, the listing fees or anything like that, it's nothing for him. So
well, according to him, he's getting married, so apparently that's why he needs the money. But he's a realtor, so kind of like
tell him to sell more houses.
Right, exactly. So I don't,
have him explain to you why it would be a good, if he were in your position, why would it be good for you to would he purchase the property?
Gotcha.
Right.
Let him sell you on why you should be purchasing it.
I mean, so hold on, potential first floor vacant.
More important, you're married to the house.
What does the property? I mean, you just have to look it down. Like if an investor is buying this thing, what is the return on their money?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like even if he wanted 100,000 down, 6% interest, all that stuff, right? But let's say, for example, someone puts $100,000 down, but they're making $30,000 a year off of this property. That's a big down payment, but it's a great return, right? So what's the return that he's offering these investors? If it's not good, then he's never going to sell it on those terms.
Makes sense.
Absolutely.
Guys asking for a point plus the 50,000.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's
on a seller finance,
right? Like again, I don't know anything, but right away I was like, dude, this dude is just trying to get everything. Like
they're charging a point, I would just walk away.
Yeah, gotcha. All right,
they're unrealistic. But I mean, that's what you see with a lot of owner finance, like the seller finance that are advertised by the seller, or like an agent that's listing their home without putting it kind of like on the market, is they just want ridiculous terms and they're unwilling to budge usually.
Right. Okay, yeah, no, I just saw again, I brought it up to man, and we were kind of on the same page on that. Obviously he gave me more input than I had, but because mine was just a hunch.
Yeah.
But thank you guys. I just wanted to kind of bring it to the group and see, kind of confirm my suspicions, I guess.
Yeah, no, if your gut tells you something's not right, usually your gut's right. You know what I mean? So
cool. All right. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate you.
Yeah, no, man, no problem.
Mo, if you want us to actually speak with the owner at some point, we can always talk to him and just see if we could either like gain some common ground, aka knock some sense into him.
Yeah, that would be great. Anybody that's willing to, I'd be more than happy to get you in touch with them. It's just honestly, I wouldn't even know how to approach it just because my lack of experience. But yeah, anybody that's willing to speak to him, I'd be more than happy to get you in touch with him.
Putting a link. This is the link that John Fothergill and I use for people when they want to book calls with us, so we can reach out to their sellers.
Sweet.
That's right there in the chat.
Gotcha, man. Thank you, bro.
No problem.
Cool. All right. Anybody else want to share any deals they're working on, any struggles they got, or just have any like general questions that they'd like to ask myself or anybody in the group? Again, this is kind of, the last bit of the call here. We just want to open up to everybody. I see a hand raised, not a virtual one, a real one. Where'd you go?
Both virtual and real.
Okay.
Go ahead, Paul.
Hi guys. I moved to Connecticut a month ago for a W-2, and I joined Sub 2 months ago. So I'm trying to learn everything while working this new W-2. But I think I might have to move my family out here. I'd like to do some kind of like creative finance. I'm like in the nowhere, Connecticut, in the top left northwest corner of Connecticut, and I'm to work my W-2 temporarily until
Torrington area.
Above Torrington, so like in Canaan. Camden,
Okay,
Connecticut.
yeah, yep.
I want to find something where I could cash flow and also move my family into, and would like some advice on like I want to do like a creative sub 2 deal to get my homestead, but I'm like, there's so much content out there. It's hard to kind of figure out what's the best strategy to, all right, here's what I'd like to do. And then try to just ask.
So yeah,
to
Paul, what I would do is leverage the community, right? Come up with your buy box, like pick a few towns, pick up, like, are you looking for a 2 to 4 family? What towns are you looking for? What's your price point? How much cash can you put down? Right? Like, get those numbers out to the community and have the community bring you those deals. Right.
Okay, do I just put it in the Discord chat or?
Yeah, put it, you can put it in the Discord chat on this call. Also,
Everywhere.
everywhere. Yeah. Like Facebook, right? You want to advertise it on the creative
The group, the free, you know, yeah.
right. Post it on Instagram, you know what I mean? Like, whatever you got to do, just get your message out there. Because how are people going to know what you're looking for if you don't tell people? You know what I mean? So
that's good.
Yeah, post it in Discord, Facebook. You know, anytime that you have a chance.
If you think you've posted enough. Sorry, go ahead, Father.
No. I thought you paused. I don't know what happened there. I thought we lost you. Go ahead.
My internet's funky here, but I was gonna say, if you post once and you feel like, oh, everyone's seen it, talk to, let's see, is he on the call? Scott, yeah. Talk to Scott. Okay. You gotta, like, daily, it should be a post. Hey, I'm still looking for that property. Here's my buy box. Here's what I'm looking for. Hey, I know it's only been a day. Does everyone remember? Here's what I'm looking for. Like, it should be in all of our faces to the point where we're like, I'm gonna mute notifications from Paul because that's all I'm seeing.
I'm glad I'm making an impact there, Ari.
It's true, because like now, if you had just posted it once, Scott, I'd probably be like, oh, okay, if I happen to see anything there. Now, if I'm looking on Facebook, if I'm looking on Discord, if I'm hearing like anyone that says New Hampshire property, I'm thinking, I know Scott's been wanting to buy. Let me see if this fits his buy box.
That's awesome.
So
awesome to hear.
It takes a while before it becomes so ingrained in everyone else that they know, Paul, if there's anything I see in Northwestern Connecticut, immediately I need to let him know.
Okay, that'd be awesome. Got it. Appreciate the advice. Thank you.
Yeah, 100%. You're just, you know, casting a broader net, right? Like, some people might be in some Facebook groups that you're not in, or you know, they see, again, like Ari was saying, I may see a property that's up near Concord, New Hampshire, and I'm gonna tag Scott in that so he gets eyes on it. So, but yeah, you know, again, like, it all really comes down to, you guys, is just leveraging the community, right? People come in there like, oh, I don't know what to do, and it's like, ask people, right? Like, go into the Discord and be like, yeah, I'm lost. I don't know what I'm doing here. Like, is someone willing to talk to me? I'd like to just learn about your business and what's working for you. And just, you know, we're a community, we're a collective, we're here to, you know, better each other, and, you know, like, high tide raises all ships. So, and don't be shy, like, about where you are. Like, everybody's in all different parts of their business and lives and everything, right? So, and we've all been to the bottom, we've all been, you know, to the top, whatever. Like, so whatever your problems are, don't feel shy about bringing them up to the group. So I think Armando said he had something he wanted to bring up. Where's Armando, my guy?
What's going on, gentlemen? Been a while. I'm working a direct to agent deal in Amherst right now, Amherst, Mass. And I don't know if this is one to just kind of like either just walk away. The house has been on the market for like 150 days. It's been like recently redone. I think so. The owner is an investor, and I think he's like a small time. I mean, he might flip like 1 or 2 just to kind of like, you know, keep his cash moving around. But the agent is sold on, like, we're trying to do a seller finance deal because he's not getting any offers, which is for Amherst right now. Like, it's a pretty hot market. There's like a super low inventory. So he's not getting any offers on it. So I proposed, they were asking for 475. I went up to 500. If they did a seller finance deal, but he wants like 50% down. And I'm like, I'm not doing 50% down. And I keep saying that, like, I try to keep my total entry cost to like 10% max, just to kind of keep it there. So I presented first like a $20,000 like down payment to the seller with some monthly payments, and they said no. And I left it alone, and I followed back up. And the agent is like, he's not getting anything else. Like, I keep bringing it up to him, but he doesn't want to budge. He just wants all the cash. So I don't like, for somebody, it seems like you just kind of like, do I just keep letting him sit and just keep like following back up with something like that? Or is he, sometimes it's people that you're just like, you're not moving anywhere. That makes sense.
Yeah, no. So does he own it free and clear?
Yeah.
Okay. And he wants 50% down.
He doesn't want to rent it either. He just wants to sell it. Which like he could get with the college there, like, and how like nice that is, he could get really great rent there for that property.
Okay. So you have a few options. One is just keep letting the market beat him up. And again, and eventually, like, you know, he's gonna have to come to his senses, right? And maybe you'll get that lower entry fee. Another way is to, I don't know how willing this guy would be to do it, but would be like a cash out down payment, where essentially he would just do a cash out refinance for 50% of his equity, take it out as a loan. Then you take over the payments of that, and then you structure the remaining 50 however the heck you want.
I can definitely try that for sure.
So that's an option. Or you go out and get the loan like a DSCR for 50%, and then you structure the other 50%. But in both cases, you're gonna have to bring the other 50% as a short-term like gap loan to suffice the DSCR, or you know, well, if it's a cash out refi, yeah, you wouldn't have to bring the cash to the table because the loan would already be in place. So the advantages on the cash out down payment is the seller gets it tax free because it's a loan, so he'll get the complete 50%, and then the loan is in first position if it's free and clear. So the seller is going to technically be in first position on that, right? So you do essentially a wraparound mortgage of that. So you'd create one, you know, you'd have the refi note and then the second, you know, note for the seller. So yeah, I mean, that's one way to do it. If he desperately needs the cash and you don't want to pay full cash and he needs 50%, that's one way of doing it. If you don't want to do that, you would have to just essentially just wait and negotiate them out.
Thanks, guys. I'll keep you posted.
So yeah, I mean, again, it's more of a creative strategy, but it can be nice, but it also can be a crutch because, you know, knowing that you could do that, sometimes people aren't willing to negotiate as hard because they're like, oh, well, whatever, you want a big down payment, I'll just structure it this way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I figured I was like, if he wants a higher down payment, I wasn't gonna give him 50%, but I was like, I can go up to 75, but similar to like the Lennox, I was going to try to get no payments because he also wanted to be ballooned out in 2 to 3 years, which like is so like risky, or not risky, but like that's like
short window.
Always risky, but it's a short window.
100%.
So
yeah, I mean, if you could say, hey, what if I gave you 50% down, you know, like the way we just discussed, and then I gave you 50% in 5 years or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, that's another way of doing it.
Okay. I'll try that and see what happens. Thank you.
I would at least run that by the agent and be like, hey, what if we could do it this way? Because then he gets his cash tax free, he gets his 50%, and he gets his purchase price as long as I can structure that other 50% in 5 years.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Looks like people we still got some people here. Anybody else, any struggles, anything that's going on, or any questions they want to kind of ask me or Santiago about what we got going on? Anything that you're looking for?
I can share something that I kind of I wouldn't say I came across it by accident, but kind of following, you know, Pace's guidance, where if you guys remember, a few months, I guess a month and a half ago or so, I was looking at or trying to find out the owner of a 8-unit building in Concord. And I couldn't find the owner, but I finally tracked him down, and I called him and I talked to him. And he had literally just put the building under contract with his neighbor like a week before that. But he said that he would, if it falls through, that he'd give me a call. He called me a week after and asked me if I had anything in the pipeline. I said, I haven't gotten anything. And he said he's still under contract with the buyer, thinks it'll go through. And it's been, I think, 2 or 3 weeks. And, I'm constantly in pursuit of private money lenders. And so, listening to Pace's stuff, I called him up as a follow-up to say, hey, where are you with this? And he says, everything's come back, it's pretty good, but the bank's being really slow. I don't know, what'll happen there. And so I asked him, well, if it does go through, are you getting it all in a chunk, or are you getting it, as a owner finance? And he said he's getting it all as a chunk. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, so what are you gonna do with the money when you get it? He's like, oh, it's gonna all go into my IRA or whatever. And I said, if you're interested in private money lending, I can get you between 10 and 15%, investing in real estate. And he's like, oh, really? And so he said, I could be interested in that. And so, nothing definite, but, like Pace says, talk to sellers. Even though he wasn't my buyer, it was still part of the process. I still asked the same questions. And now I've got, another potential private money lender in my back pocket. Should the opportunity come up, which I know it will. If he gets interested, and I know he bought the property for 290,000 and he's selling it for 1.2 million. So he's going to have some money. And this was one property out of, I think, 5 or 6 that he sold this year. So
yeah, I love it. Love it.
Yeah. So that was not a complete win, but it's very close to it.
100%.
Plant them seeds. That's it. Keep planting seeds.
Yeah.
Always gonna be, having conversations. Keith, your hand up.
Yeah, I came so Ari and I came across a deal today. And maybe just throw it out there.
Yeah.
So it's a mobile home park in Connecticut. People had owned it since like 85. It's got 8 pads, and it's got so 7 are occupied. It's on 20 acres with kind of the possibility to expand, maybe possibly somewhere between like 20 to 30 pads, possibly. It's a pocket listing right now. They said they would give us a couple days, until it goes on to the market. It is on septic. It does have a well, which I know is not ideal. It's listed, they're asking $425 for the property. So I think as is, I don't think it would cash flow with like a DSCR loan. But I obviously don't have much experience in the mobile home world or any of that. So it would require, the pads is one thing, but then adding septic, adding more wells, can obviously be super costly. And so I was just kind of throwing it out there if anybody had any experience in that world or anything else. We asked for seller financing. They kind of shot it down pretty quickly. Went and took a ride by it today. It looks pretty nice, pretty decent, in a pretty decent area. One of the units sold in not that long ago, within like 6 months ago, for like 125. So I'm just kind of thinking of the possibilities of the value add by adding units, plus the potential of profiting by, buying more units and then selling them retail, that, I could obviously, sell myself by like buying, 20 mobile homes wholesale and then, listing them individually. But yeah, so at first I thought we could just try to take it down, and if it would cash flow and then expand, on the timeline that we wanted, but I think we would just have to go for it with like a hard money lender to, acquire the property and do the expansion, because if it's not cash flowing, we're not getting a DSCR loan.
So is it the due diligence and like the pricing out that you're afraid of like the septic and all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean,
Because could you possibly do an option agreement where they give you time to run that due diligence?
yeah, I mean, definitely could. I mean, we definitely put a contingency in, that we would be able to expand, in a due diligence period, because obviously if we can't expand on the pads, then, it's not a deal. They also, so it was like a a couple who acquired, they own other properties, in Connecticut, other mobile home parks in Connecticut. And they said they're going to be selling them off, piece by piece. This is the first one. The wife is 90, the husband passed away. And one of the sons is the, registered agent of the LLC now that owns like 8 of these properties. So we're also kind of thinking there could be like more down the road if we could, do this successfully.
Yeah, I don't have any personal experience in mobile homes. I'm not sure if anyone else does here. If they do, please.
Can I speak up on it real quick?
Yes, please.
Cool. The so what is it exactly again? So is it 8 houses, 8 lots?
So yeah, there's 8 pads, 7 houses. There's 1 vacant pad right now.
Okay. Do they own all the mobile homes, or are they individually owned and all they own is the lots?
All they own is the lots. The people
So
they own the trailers.
And what do they get for lot rent on them?
They just raised it to $430 a lot.
So $430 a lot at what, 8 of them you said?
Yeah.
And what other expenses are on there?
So they individually pay trash. So it'd be like really only other expense would be landscaping and snow removal. So I mean there is water included, but that's a well. So there'd be obviously if there was maintenance on the well, we would have to take care of it. But you have no other kind of utilities that we would have to cover.
Okay, cool. So if you bought it though, then you could, that 8 pad, you could put your own mobile on there and also have that mobile, right?
Correct.
And then, so that's good. And then what do you think for expansion that you could get on it? How many additional pads are possible?
We're hoping like the agent wasn't sure or reached out to the town today. The person wasn't in the office, so they said call back in the morning, but the agent said that she thought there could be somewhere between 20 to 30. It sits on 20 acres.
Okay, cool. And the zoning is okay. Is the zoning grandfathered in? Sometimes
Yeah, the zoning, I double checked the zoning. It's a commercial zoning, mobile home park zoned.
Cool.
And it takes up, currently the 8 pads take up 2 of the 20 acres. So there's 18 vacant acres currently.
Cool. And then how is, like you said, it is septic and well, which I wouldn't be afraid of that if I was you, but what would the, like, is it just one community septic, and how big of a septic is it?
No, I don't know that they're supposed to get that information to us.
Okay, yeah, because cool, that'd be something to want to know. I mean,
Yeah.
they're asking $425 for it.
Yes.
So if you're not even able to develop the other additional lots, what's the land value? What would that land value be?
I'm not 100%. When I kind of underwrote it, like with the DSCR loan, I thought we would be in the neighborhood of like 3,800 a month on that. So I think we would have we'd have like a deficit with the 8th pad filled. So we would have like a deficit of like $700 a month as
Yeah.
it sits. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously, like the numbers, the numbers aren't that far off if I'm looking at them properly,
Yeah.
right? So as it is right now, especially if you have the potential to add those additional mobile homes, how come they aren't open to seller financing?
It was just the one conversation with the agent, and she was just kind of really just shot it down pretty quickly, and she said no, they're not interested in that.
Yeah, because she doesn't understand what it is the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I would definitely try to obviously go seller financing on it. I mean, and honestly, like say, hey, listen, I could even like possibly go up to 450 if they're willing to do seller financing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it makes it that much more attractive, a much lower interest, like instead of like a DSCR right now, you're probably looking somewhere around 8%. Interest rates did go down today, but DSCRs are a little bit higher anyways. And then if you could even just get it at 6%, that makes the numbers that much more attractive. If it's a pocket listing, I don't think there's anything wrong, honestly, with locking it up and putting in like for something like this, you're going to want to have a 60 to 90-day due diligence process anyways, which is standard inside mobile home parks. So I wouldn't get too nervous about that, like asking for an extended due diligence process. So because and people that work in that mobile home park industry understand that, especially if they own other properties, then that's fine. So that I mean, it's, obviously you don't want to risk too much money or anything like that, but financing can just put a financing contingency in it, and then you can always walk away if it can't get financed.
Yeah.
And get your deposit back.
Yeah, I was thinking of shooting for like 60 days, but I'm totally down to shoot for 90 and see if they get 60. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, it could definitely work out. I'll put my number in the chat. And if you want to connect outside of here, and we can kind of go over a little bit further, because I know these guys got to go and everything, and they're doing everything.
I
But
appreciate that, Gordon.
I personally wouldn't get involved with it, just so you know, but I could definitely put you in contact with some people up in that area that could be interested, without a doubt.
Okay.
Just so you know. So cool. Yeah, reach out, man. But it sounds like it could be something interesting. It could be a good potential for you, especially if you can develop that, obviously.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
How's that leak?
Yeah, man.
Relationship with an agent. It was a relationship that Ari had with an agent. Yeah.
Cool. Jeremy, what's up? You got your hand up?
Yeah, there's another property I went and took a second look at today. It's in Ticonderoga. It's kind of a depressed town, but they need a lot of rentals there. So right now the house is listed at $89,000. It's a duplex, and it's bringing in $850 a side. So if I was to take it over, they would be open to doing subject to. The guy just kind of wants out of the house, and I kind of understand, being a carpenter, it has some foundation issues. But it cash flowing $850 a month or $900 a month. I kind of had to take a second look at it to see if I'm just being a pain in the ass carpenter and not wearing my investor hat on this job. Any thoughts on it? Just the foundation would probably be 50 grand to build it back up, but it's not a critical thing right now. It doesn't look great, which scares off a lot of people. And I'm hoping I'm not just looking at the shiny object of the cash flowing of $800 to $900 a month.
Right. As far as
it's a 5.5% interest rate on the loan right now.
Okay. And what how much does he owe on it?
62.
Okay.
So I could probably get it for I'm thinking 75 to 80. 'Cause I think he put about 5 to 10,000 in, a couple pellet stoves and some new windows and a shitty vinyl siding. And I might have a buyer for it. My plumber is also interested in a place, so I kind of showed it to him today, which brought me back out there. And I just see the cash flowing, cash flowing 8 to 900 a month, going, wow, it's great, but it would take 5 years for it to cash flow enough to put a new foundation in it. But that's not even that critical because people are still going to rent it for $850 a month, regardless. There's nothing up there.
Yeah, I mean, if you're just gonna hold it as a rental, again, like when you go to sell it and they do an inspection, that's, yeah, you're gonna have to fix it, or if it becomes, a serious safety hazard, obviously, right? But I mean, he's got renters in there now, right?
Oh yeah, and they're happy.
All right, so what's their leases? Are they month to month?
I didn't check. I'm assuming it's month to month. But there's really not a whole lot of places there to rent. And that everything is so old there that I'm worried about flipping a house because everything is such a money pit. Whereas a rental, I just like it as a cash, just produce cash. I just wouldn't have to look at it as a carpenter's, when I look at the house.
I mean, just on the surface, right? Like, so what's his payment right now? Do you know?
I haven't gone that far, but it's 62,000 is what he owes at 5.5. So I'm guessing it's 700 to 800 all in. So I'm guessing it can't be a whole lot more. And he just got in over his head. I think he's an out-of-state investor. He bought it 2 years ago and realized what he has and just doesn't want to try to fix anything.
Yeah.
So I thought about just trying to, pass it off and maybe taking this, like the commission just on bringing the realtor a buyer and just saying, I don't want to touch the damn thing either. But
Well, I mean, if you were to do that, I mean, you would just wholesale it, right? So if you had a buyer, you would just lock it up under your terms and then just add a little fee on the down payment or whatever, and you do it that way. I mean, if you think it's cash flowing 800 a month, right? So, these are just based off of the numbers you're giving me, that's $9,500 a month in cash flow. So even if you
9,500 a year, yeah, in cash flow.
500 a year.
If it's cash flowing 800 a month, 8 to 900 a month, it would be about.
So if you're cash flowing 7,500 a year.
Yeah.
Let's say you have to bring 30,000 to the table. I mean, that's a 25% return.
And I think I could be even less. I was almost thinking offering them like $5,000 cash and then closing costs. So 10,000 to try to lock it up. And
well, if that's the case, and that's a great deal.
All right. So yeah, I should try to.
They're renting and they're in there. Just leave the renters in there.
Right.
Take over the loan, give them a little bit of cash, pay for closing.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And then if I do get someone in to take it over, then great. But yeah, just like the cash flow, I was a little weary about trying to wrap it or do anything else to that, like sub to it, then assign it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can do that. That's easy.
Yeah, I'll put the call into the realtor tomorrow, and all the realtors up here are all unicorn agents because they don't have a choice. Everything needs to be creative, which is great.
I think it might behoove you if you do take down this deal. Obviously, the cash flow sounds good. Is to start setting aside some type of money for the big capital expenditures like you're talking about with the foundation.
Yeah. Wait 5 years before you can throw 50 grand at the foundation or something.
Yeah, so you got a few exits on it, right? So you can hold it, save the cash flow, redo the foundation when you got enough money. You can wholesale it to another investor. Yeah, you got a bunch of exits on it. And if they're open to creative finance, and again, it's all about what's my entry fee and what's my cash on cash, right? So
right,
try and get the deals for as little as possible and get as big as returns as we can. So
Yeah, and that's where I see it. Just being a carpenter, I got to take my carpenter's hat off and stop looking at all the small details on this because I'm not building in Boulder right now. It's Ticonderoga.
Again, right? Like it all depends on the market, you know, like a flip in like Situate, Massachusetts is gonna be a lot different than a flip up in, you know, like Fitchburg, Massachusetts, you know, like it's gonna be
Yeah.
different level of rehab that you have to do to get the purchase price. Like some things work in different markets. So sometimes, a coat of paint and some floors work. Sometimes you got to do a full gut and, granite countertops, custom cabinets, all that
Right.
stuff. It's really
Yeah,
what,
that's the benefit I have here is it's pretty low income area still.
Right.
But the flow is coming up here from the south end of the lake. It's going right up to the north end. So we got $1 million homes going in now, which is great.
beautiful. So yeah,
Awesome. Thank you.
Don't ever take the carpenter hat off. It's gonna save you more than it's gonna lose you. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
And that's what I see is going, my family's been burned by some of the, the money pit homes. And this definitely isn't one that I like as a carpenter. There's other ones I like more, but just the cash flow, I couldn't really just not look at it.
Right.
Cool.
Yep. It's all about the numbers, right? You gotta take your emotion out of it for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Cool. Anybody else got anything? I know I got a few things I'm working on. I got a flip we're doing in Manchester. And also a flip we got just locked up on seller finance in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. So I'm currently right now raising funds for both those projects, looking for private money partners. So anybody that knows anyone that has private money or wants to get involved in the deal, I got 2 right now going that looking for some partners on. So just want to throw that out there before it gets too late and a bunch of people jump off. So how much do I need? So for the remainder, so for Manchester, we would probably need another 100,000, and then for Portsmouth is probably we're gonna do seller finance with renovation preliminary, probably somewhere between 100 to 125. So in total, I'm looking to raise between like 200 to 225, hopefully. So yeah, anyone that, and again, that all doesn't have to come from one person. So any conversations are good conversations to have. So just want to throw that out there before it got too late and people jump off. So I'm also going to be posting something in Discord either tonight or tomorrow morning with all the deal breakdowns and everything. So you guys can take a look at the numbers, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me directly, or we'll set up a call or a Zoom and we can kind of break everything down. So
John, are they already closed or are they just under contract?
So the Manchester one closes next week. And then the Portsmouth one, we should be opening escrow tomorrow, and we have a 3-week close on that one.
I'm wondering for a deal you already have closed, how do you secure the lender on that type of a deal?
I'm not sure, honestly. That's a good question. I personally haven't experienced that. I'm not I mean, I guess once you own the property, you can still have someone put a lien on it after the fact, if I'm not incorrect. I don't know if anyone.
Well, I guess that's true. Yeah, I mean, you could certainly, the lender probably could. You could still do a promissory note and put the promissory note on there as a lien.
Yeah,
you do a promissory note and or you do a JV agreement. Either one, whichever one you want to feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
Personally, I would go with the JV agreement, but that's just me, because if it's a promissory note, then no matter what, you're in second position, right? And so at that point in time, you're at second position, you're SOL if something happens and they get foreclosed on or any of that. Your money, in my opinion, is more protected if you do a joint venture or set up a trust and you become a trustee, however it would be done. But I think that protects you better.
All right.
Perfect. All right. Anybody else got anything? Santiago, you got anything you wanna throw in? We're getting up to
No,
eight.
I mean, yeah, we're nearing the end. It seems like, everyone's ready to hop off, but 18 Ames Street, Brockton. No. I am in the process right now of refinancing my fix and flip that I did in Manchester. I'm most likely going to be turning it into a midterm rental. So if anybody has any experience doing anything like that, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm going to figure it out along the way. So I'll probably be posting some stuff about it. If anybody wants to get involved, if whether it's just for information or they want to maybe get involved financially in the deal, that's something that's definitely up for discussion for sure as well.
Cool. All right, 18 Ames Street. What's up with this? Who's got 18 Ames?
Yeah, that's me, Felicia. I've been talking to a seller.
Felicia, you sound extremely muffled.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Give me 1 second.
Sounds like you're talking like this.
Can you hear me now?
Sounds the
Is it
same.
better?
Let's try to work through it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not home. Okay, so yes, I have this seller. He's in Brockton, 6 units, and he's not really that motivated or in a hurry to sell. But so I've been talking to him since COVID actually. And so I offered him like 500 a month per unit, but he's open to that. But I need to come up with an offer price because he doesn't really want to give it to me. I just want to have an idea like how much I can offer, how much, is a good offer. So if you guys can help me figure that out, that would be great.
So what, again, 1 second. So what's his motivation?
Wait, give me 1 second. No, I hear you. Say that again.
What's the seller's motivation? Why does he want to sell?
Well, the property has been vacant for 6 years, so he's really not in a hurry to sell. So I've just been trying to offer him, like,
So
I
though,
guess,
I
gain or
want to stop
something.
you for a second though. Why are we spending our times on people that don't want to sell?
Well, I don't know. Maybe the money will motivate him. The property has been
Yeah, but
vacant, and he's
why?
not
Yeah,
making.
but we're not here to motivate people. We're here to find motivated people.
Well, maybe I can motivate him. I don't know, John. I'm trying.
No, I know. I'm trying to get you to understand that maybe, focusing on somebody that's not serious about selling is not the best use of our time, right? So,
No, I agree with that.
right.
But he's somebody I've been talking to for a while, and once in a while I check up with him. So today I told him, like, how about I give you $500 a month per property? He was excited about that. Yeah, I mean per unit. He was excited about that. And then so earlier today, he replied and said he had an offer for 790,000 from somebody who's willing to close cash 30 days.
Okay. And so
So
why didn't he take that offer?
yeah, that's a good question. I actually don't even believe it. I think he's just trying to, make me come up with a number. I think that's probably that number that he's open to. So,
So that number makes sense though.
It's 100,000, 131,000 per unit. So in Brockton, I don't think that's bad, but again, I'm always wrong about the numbers. So that's why I'm checking in with you.
No, I agree with you, Celicia. I'm pulling it up right now. I know the area, and it's right at the Abington border. I actually flipped a house like, I don't know, a quarter mile from this last year.
Okay.
I'm surprised. It says it's 7 units, and yeah, I think he would get an offer around 700,000. But the problem is how much deferred maintenance is sitting inside this building that could crush you in construction. But I do like it. Why is he leaving it vacant? You have no idea.
It's been vacant for 6 years.
That
He
is
has an old
crazy.
friend from high school living there in one of the units, and he is subsidizing it. He has a
Wow.
farm in Canada. So he's not really,
He lives in Canada.
he has a farm in Canada. Yeah, he's back and forth.
All right, this is a really nice section of the city. It's way outside of downtown. It's a very desired area.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised. Yeah, I've probably driven by this thing 100 times and didn't even realize it.
Probably.
I would keep on them, you know, I
Yeah.
just every once in a while check in with them because eventually everybody's gonna sell, you know what I mean?
That's the reason why I'm doing that. And he
I would
said, you know
assume it's
what, time
probably
is on
got a
your
ton
side.
of
I am not in a hurry. So,
I would
I just
do
want to get that.
I would do the owner finance, and if he was excited about the monthly income,
Mm-hmm. He was.
then really, instead of basing it on per unit, just base it on seller financing. And here's how much I'll give you a month.
Yeah, so
And
I
you're going to fund
mentioned,
the project for me, and I'm going to take it on. But it's a massive building. It's pretty
It
big,
is.
and so you cannot renovate the whole thing at once, or you'll have to put sprinklers in the building, and you'll have to do a lot of things. So you have to do like one unit at a time is how people kind of get around that.
okay.
But yeah, I would definitely keep the conversation open, and he will get an offer from somebody for 700,000 for this place.
Yeah.
It says it's actually on. I'm on the city assessors page, and they say it's a 7-unit
Okay.
on the page, but that doesn't mean it is. But that's what it says.
Does it say how many bedrooms and bathrooms?
It does not on this property card. Let me see what the next one. I'm just reading through it. Physical condition. It doesn't. So did you realize, you know what the 7th unit is? There's a, and I looked
No,
at it
he only
too.
said 6. So the 7th, I have no idea.
I think it's the structure next door that's a single family.
Probably
Because
because when I
it's
check
still-
it always says single family. It doesn't even say, multifamily.
It looks very original on the outside and probably is if it's something he inherited or something. But I would keep that conversation open. He's got something here.
Yeah, but any idea on the numbers though?
I don't, I'd be
do you have
lying to you if I did. You have to reverse engineer. So you would have to figure out what market rents are and then work backwards off of that income
Mm-hmm.
and see what really is going to make sense. And you're going to have to make a guesstimate of repairs, and I would have at least 30 grand a unit, you know what I mean? For something that looks this dated. It looks like it has old asbestos siding on it, which is fine. You could leave it there and paint it for a while. But I would just assume the way it looks and no one living in it, that it's original to 1900s. Like, it's going to need a lot of work. So I would figure a minimum of 30 to 50 grand per unit to you know what I mean, to be that you're going to eventually have to put into it.
I was thinking 100, but
per
yeah,
unit?
that's good.
No,
Yeah,
I mean, if you
I
do
don't
6,
know.
right, 300,000, you could go pretty long with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But then I said, you know what, I think 50 should do it. But yeah, he said 4 units need extensive renovation. That's
Yeah.
what he said.
Yeah. So maybe go with the 50,000. I mean, that's that's 300K to renovate. Maybe you won't get everything done, but that will certainly get a big chunk done.
So Lisa, I think the play on it is to get it under contract and then wholesale it, right? Like that would be the play on it. Because it's a major project.
It
Yeah,
is
it
major. But if it's, I guess I'm ready. I want to say I'm ready for my first flip, but maybe it's too
like
much
it.
for me. I don't know.
like
I'll
it.
see what's the best,
Don't let that one be your first
course of
flip.
action for
Yeah,
that one.
yeah,
But
yeah.
whatever.
Would it be your first flip?
Yes, you would.
Yeah. Please
Don't do it.
Yeah, please don't make that be your first flip, please.
Okay,
Yeah, don't
all
do
right.
that.
I
Yeah.
won't.
Lacey, take it from me, take it from Gordon. Do not let that be your first flip.
No.
Okay, no,
You
but
can
I'm
throw a
really
million at
excited
that
about
pretty
the-
quick.
I'm really excited about the financing part because I feel like he's open to that.
Yeah. Lock it up. Somebody in that area will 100% buy that thing, and you could probably easily like wholesale that thing for like 50K, easy.
Yep.
Okay.
Easy.
Right, and just take that easy 50K and move on.
Yep.
All right.
and call me.
Okay, good. So he said 790, somebody offered him 790 and did the walkthrough with his contractors and then is, willing to pay cash in the next 30 days. I feel like he was trying to rush me. So I
Yeah.
said, if you're willing to finance it, I'll do 850. And then he said, I have to talk with my family, but I don't know.
Yeah, have you walked it yourself?
No, not
Alright.
yet. I've been trying to though. But
So
I keep,
he won't let you walk it, but all of a sudden he let someone else walk it with his
yeah,
contractor?
that's
Yeah.
how I feel like. And
Yeah.
he told me I was the only one he was talking to. So, buyers are liars, sellers are worse.
Yeah, of course.
And then
Of
today
course.
he said that. But
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
feel like I know his number because he never told me a number before. So I know his number. So, but
Yeah, just be like, I absolutely would love to, I want to make an offer to you, but I have to walk the property to make sure I know
Yeah.
what it's worth. That's all you can do.
yeah. I just need him to let me get in that property because he lives
Yeah.
right in front of my dad. Every time I go there, I see it. So that's actually when I talk to him.
Break in. If it's vacant, just go break in. Who cares?
No, man, I want to so bad.
I'm serious. Just do it. What's the big
Every
deal? If it's vacant, just go walk it. The hell?
No, he has a friend living in one of the floors, so in one of the units.
Oh, okay.
So
Gotcha.
that's
Gotcha.
why I don't go there. But
Gotcha.
and he's subsidizing that guy. He doesn't need the money. So, but yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, keep us updated.
All right.
All right, guys. Any other questions or dilemmas we got going on?
Hey guys.
What's up, Bobby?
Hey,
Hey, anyone knows any lawyers who do business buying that holds real estate?
I do not.
What was the question? Can you repeat it?
Business lawyer.
I'm working on I've been talking with the realtor backtrack. He's not a realtor, he's a broker. And was open to hear me out about structuring a creative financing for seller financing deal on a 33 unit building. The seller owns it, but they have a mortgage in place, so they refinanced it a few years back. And they're holding a 5% mortgage on that. So they were going to sell the building, and my proposal to the broker was, how about I buy the business, not just the building? And he was all thrown off about it. So when I explained to him, like, I don't want to buy the building, I'd rather buy the whole business holding the building, because then all the contracts, bank accounts, insurance vendors, and the mortgages, nothing changes. The only thing that changes is the notes with the Secretary of State, where the manager is now going to be me, not the current owner of the business. So in the eyes of everybody else, the building is still owned by that same company. It's just the management's changed. So he listened to me. He heard me out. Part of the thing is, I think I'm offering him $500,000 more than anybody else is offering him. But my condition is that I buy the whole building and we're doing all seller financing. So that's why I'm wondering if anyone has worked with actual business buying, not just real estate buying, because that will be structured a little bit differently, because we get into me taking over their EIN numbers, bank accounts, tax-wise and whatnot. So in theory, everything should be pretty streamlined, but I feel like I would like to have consulted with a tax attorney or somebody like that to make sure that we structure the deal correctly at the end of the day.
Yeah, I don't have experience buying businesses, but I mean, I would imagine it would just essentially draft like a new operating agreement that puts you as the owner. I mean, I don't know the mechanics of it, but
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone
Yeah,
has any experience with that.
So I've never done it personally, but I could definitely recommend is it in Massachusetts?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would look up Doug Mercurial. He's out of North Reading. is where he's at. Doug Mercurial. He is out of North Reading on Main Street. He does a lot of real estate deals. He's been my partner on a lot of real estate deals. He's been a lender on a lot of my real estate deals, and he's an attorney, real estate attorney, owns insurance companies and other businesses as well. So he would definitely be someone that could help you. He's very smart, so he could help you walk you through that. If
Yeah, how do you spell his last name?
Mercurial. Let me see. I'll try and Google his
MECURIO. Curio.
MER. It's Mercurial. So let me see. Hold on one second.
Right there. Marsha's got it in the chat.
Thank you, Marsha. Thank you, Marsha. Yeah, so I'd give him a shout on that. My only concern, obviously, like when I heard you saying that, was like alarm bells started going off my whole entire head about like you are looking to buy the business and the real estate and what kind of business is it? And then obviously you are buying, like you'd be taking over their debt, if they have tax issues, if they have any liens, like all that stuff. So I'm sure that's why you want the attorney to be involved in it, but that's.
Yeah, so that's definitely, I'm aware of me taking over all of their liabilities, the good and the bad. But like I said, there's no way I can get a 5% commercial loan anywhere.
Right.
And that's a $2.3 million mortgage in place right now with 15 years left to pay it off. So that's one of the reasons why I approached them with the idea, how about I buy the whole business rather than buying the property, because there's no way I'm gonna get this good of a financing, and then seller finance the rest of it out of the 5, and then I would be bringing to the table the closing costs and the broker's fees. So I'd still have to bring a couple $100,000 to the table at the end of the day. But much, much better than trying to get my own financing with $1.4 million at the table.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a cool play. I like the idea. It's a good strategy, dude. I like it.
Yeah, and I was, like I said, the broker was like, never heard of anything of that nature, never heard about. When I told him let's buy the business, not the real estate, he's like, what are you talking about? Have you done this? I was like, I'm in the talks of buying an electrical business, as a matter of fact. I just have COVID, so everything got put on hold. But it's definitely a thing, business buying. So he heard me out. I showed him my structure, how I would structure it for 35 times. Amortized over 35 years, 0 down, just paying basically closing fees and broker's fees. And he's like, write me the letter of intent. I'll show it to the seller right away.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, for
Mark
sure.
is saying,
Yeah.
be careful of any pending lawsuits. Obviously, part of your due diligence is going to involve looking over the financials of the business and things like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna write down 90-day due diligence period. So I'll have 90 days to go through, through town records, court records, and whatnot too. So I feel like 90 days should be more than enough to do my own due diligence on it.
Love it. Yeah, keep us definitely updated on that one. That one seems pretty cool.
Yeah, sure, will do. And thanks for the info on Doug. I might be reaching out to him next week. We'll see what the seller comes back with after they see my letter of intent.
Cool. That's exciting, man. That's cool.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
No problem. All right. Santiago, anything else before we sign off here?
I think we're good. Anybody have any other questions, or we good to call it a night?
How do I become as good looking as you, Santiago? Look at how sexy you are.
Dude, I just got a haircut today. I was so scruffy.
I can tell you're all clean cut. Look at you.
I'm trying.
Good seeing y'all. Take care of yourself.
All right, thank you guys.
Peace out, guys.
Thanks, guys.